Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them, episode 298?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was 299.
I want to get something put together for 300 to celebrate, and I just don't know if it's going to happen.
Well, you know what I realized is that we have been planning something fun for the month of December that is going to fall right around starting around our 300th episode. So I think that we can pretend it was all meant to be.
Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? I think I know.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, do you not remember? Yeah. So we have a lot of, just like festive. I love Christmas. How many times do I have to say it? I love the vibes. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's been so long since my little girl was saying, oh, look at this.
That's crazy. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. She still does have an accent, if you're wondering.
Okay.
She does, but it's not as prominent.
I think it's so funny that episode is the one that was part of the CCB case. So, like, they had to watch.
She tried to take that away from the world?
I know. And
my
favorite part, though, is that the CCB watched it, like, multiple times.
Love that.
And I'm like, I hope they watched the intro, too.
I'm sure they did. They had to watch the whole thing.
So I feel like they at least got some entertainment as well.
Yeah, I am so excited. This is the last episode of November, yes?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is. Well, anyway, guys, I'm a little bit scared of this episode because I fear we're going to be here. It's going to be like an episode of Lord of the Rings. It's going to be like
7 hours
years long.
Like if we were putting this out on VHS, it would be a 2 VHS situation.
Oh my God. Yeah, you'd have to. Did you used to have to flip it or like it was a separate thing?
No, I have the Titanic ones. I still have them somewhere.
I don't think I ever had a 2 VHS
tapes.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I used to remember like exactly where it would be like, put in tape number 2. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard, but on TikTok, it's everywhere, I feel like. It's called the Danish Deception.
I hadn't heard, which is kind of insane. You told me about it. I didn't know this existed.
It's like everywhere. It got like millions and millions of views.
Skip my shit. That's crazy.
Honestly, you're lucky.
Well, am I? Here I am.
Yeah, but I had to watch the entire fucking thing multiple times.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think Ned Fulmer was less long, but it's kind of like that, where it's like you never got to experience that level of like story time when it was just Ned and Ariel, just like dead air. I kind of now get to experience the opposite, where it's like you had to sit through the stories. And I'll never see that because I'm not seeking out the original stories.
No, that's because there's 27 parts. They add up to be over 4.5 hours of content.
When you told me that, I'm like, well, then we can't cover it. And Lily was determined. She's like, we can. I will find a way.
We've been getting tagged in it a lot. And like, it felt like it was a good fit and we needed something. So I was like, I'll just cut it down. So I have sped it up significantly. I don't think it's too fast. I think everyone will be able to understand. It might be a little choppy at some parts because I did use one of the editing softwares that cuts out like filler words. So sometimes it like gets a little messy with where it's fine. But it's fine. I went through then and manually cut out a ton of stuff because holy shit, this storytelling, she annoys me already from a lot of things in this story time, and a lot of the internet agrees. But I was getting progressively more annoyed when I was going through and trying to find stuff to cut out because she gives way too many details. And it's like, and then I went to dinner with my college friend and her daughter and her goddaughter. And then also she asked me if I wanted to get drinks first. So then I was like, yeah, we should get drinks first. And then we got drinks. And it's like, do we care?
But like that doesn't pertain to the story whatsoever.
None of it. It's just like a lot of like, oh, and then I was with my sister and we had a really good trip and it was really fun and we went to drinks and stayed at this hotel. And it's like, get to the point.
But this is going to be similar, if I'm understanding correctly, not in the content of the story, but just in how we're going to react and like deliver it to you guys who like me may not know about it. It's going to be similar to our Kendra episode, right? Like in terms of like cutting down such a large amount of content into like a more digestible way.
Except even more is cut out for sure because she just like rambles a lot. She compares it to, it's like a who the fuck did I marry? I mean, it is a who the fuck did I marry because she did marry him. We'll let her explain. I do have a few like text slides that I put in here where I'll just like kind of summarize what happened or give some context. And I also have some pictures to show you what he looks like because she describes him but never includes any pictures. And I thought we needed a visual.
Okay, so I do have some prerequisite questions super quick. Was she an influencer before this happened?
Oh, yeah. Background context. So her name is Onyeka. She pronounces it a certain way, but I've seen a lot of Nigerian women come out and been like, you're pronouncing your own name wrong, basically.
Hey, but it's your own name. You could pronounce it however you want.
That's true. true. But there's a lot of racial undertones that we will address after we get through everything. But it's a lot of Black women that have come forward afterwards and been like, absolutely not. This story is bullshit.
Oh no.
So,
okay.
She was on The Bachelor, actually.
Oh.
She was on Colton's season. Colton is now gay and has a child with a man.
Not the now gay. I think
Colton he was always gay. And then he even dated one of the girls for a while after The Bachelor. I don't know if they were ever engaged. But then he I think she got like a restraining order or something. He
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it was super weird. Now he's out and happy and has a little family. So good for him. She, on the show, notably was like, I've never had a serious relationship. And just that she's always been like waiting for the one, and her family, like her parents have a really good relationship. So she is like, has high standards. And
I feel like that's everyone on Love is Blind. Literally, that's like all their stories.
And she also went on another show after that. She was on Paradise as well.
I just feel like I've been passed by every person here. I know I'm an awesome person. Why don't the guys think I'm awesome? I've been here for how long? I haven't had a single romantic connection. I'm like questioning why I'm here.
And then also she did another show, which I forget what it was, because there's a friend that spoke out that that's where they met. And it was like a show that pulled people from all of those shows. So it was like from The Bachelor, from Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
From the people who brought you some of the most heart-stopping moments in reality dating history comes a crossover event that brings together 8 icons of reality television for a chance at finding their ultimate match.
I can't believe it's come to this.
We about to strike a match. I'm here for all the right reasons.
I wouldn't say she's not an influencer. She doesn't have like a ton of followers, but she definitely seems like she would like to be.
So do you think that could be maybe an incentive of why she's sharing everything we're about to watch? Or do you think she genuinely wanted to like come on the internet and be like, I need to get my story out there to like, I don't know, in a cathartic way?
Hard to say. I think maybe that was like a perk, but she claims that it's like to warn other women so they don't go through this too. And everyone watching is like, oh, I don't know how many people this is going to happen to. But
well, because like Risa Tisa, for instance, like that was pretty much a unique experience that nobody's gonna, you know what I mean? Like maybe he'll get 1 or 2 other women, but like,
well, and so
she
also
did over 100 parts.
A huge difference that a lot of people pointed out between what we're going to watch and Risa Tisa, because she even compares it to Risa Tisa in the beginning.
Okay.
And she says it's worse.
I don't like that comparison. Everybody experienced their own trauma, queen. We don't have to compare it.
Right? I would say trauma Olympics, but it's foreshadowing for something else we're going to learn. So she basically, throughout the entire story, is very like, well, I didn't think anything of it. Or like, I thought it was kind of weird, but like, I don't really know. And she just like kind of like overlooks a lot of red flags. Risa Tisa also overlooked a lot of red flags, but the whole time she was like, I'm so stupid. There was like a red flag waving in my face.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really the vibe that Onyeka gives. It's more like, he scammed me. He was so good at scamming. Like, I can't believe I fell for, like, but it's like, well, I mean, are you kidding?
Oh, God. Okay. Let's embark on this journey. I'm ready.
I was going to say, I'm not trying to like victim blame right off the bat. I do think obviously she was taken advantage of, but the general consensus of most people I've seen on the internet is, girl, come on. But I'll fill in any blanks if I cut anything that's important. But
what you guys are about to hear is one of the most beautiful love stories you've ever heard. I need to make sure you guys prepare yourselves because it's going to take a very drastic turn. This is going to be one of the most insane roller coaster of emotions that you guys have been on. And if you were a fan of the Who the Fuck Did I Marry series, the story you're about to hear is significantly worse.
I don't even like that preface. What the fuck was that?
A beautiful love story is super weird too.
Well, also normally like, and I just hate a preface in general. I hate when people give way too much backstory. It does drive me insane. But here specifically, her saying like, get ready for this roller coaster. Like, what are you? This is a movie pitch? What
no,
is
but
this?
that's the whole thing is so weird. And she's like smiling, retelling it. And everyone's like, girl, are you still in love with him? Like, what's going on?
Oh, nor. Okay.
It's just kind of weird vibes. And she's very just like, okay. And then like it does feel a little performative. I don't know if that's the right word, but weird vibes. So I cut out the whole beginning because she gives a lot of context. But basically, all you need to know is she decided she was going to go on a trip with her friend to Croatia. One of the days, they're at a beach club, and this guy walks in.
This man looks like he is walking straight out of a Calvin Klein ad. And I'm telling you guys, 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, chiseled tan, muscles everywhere.
I'm so dead. Did you put that picture in?
Yeah, there's anher one. I must not have
Not
pulled it
the
up.
jump scare.
Wait,
what
no,
the fuck is that?
Go a little, just a smidge forward, because there's, oh, where did the other, oh, it got deleted. I had another one that was not the best.
He looks so Okay,
He looks
Calvin Klein
fine.
model?
Yeah.
Wouldn't describe him as that.
The other picture I had in there, I don't know what happened to it, but it was the best because that was a comment people were leaving going, Calvin Klein model where?
Oh my God. No, this picture definitely looks better because half of his face is like not visible.
There's
it's,
some
like,
more that
blended
I
into the
included.
night. That first picture really took me in for a loop. Oh.
He's okay.
God bless. But for him to do anything bad enough for you to tell a 26-part story and you're still describing him as a Calvin Klein model when that is his face is crazy.
No, that's the thing is like throughout this entire thing, it gives off like I'm still in love with him.
I mean, I wouldn't look at him on the street and be like, ew. I mean, I wouldn't look at anybody and do
No,
that.
but
like,
honestly, if I was at like a beach club and I was drinking and I saw him come up and he was like,
and it was
buff and
dark
stuff,
and I didn't have my contacts in.
I'd be like, yeah, he's cute, but like I wouldn't be like, he's a Calvin Klein model. Like
I wouldn't even describe it.
I don't know
as
if I would say cute.
honestly.
Also, he's like significantly older. She's like in her late 20s. He's like must be like 40 something.
Well, I will say he looks good for his age then. If he's 40, yeah, he doesn't look 40.
So basically, summing up the next little recollection of events is that he like buys her and her friend drinks and they start small talking and they end up leaving. So she gets him and his friend's Instagram and then he starts DMing her, keeps trying to hang out, finally gets them to go to dinner with him and the friend one night. It goes fine, but like they never even hook up. They just like hug goodbye. She tells like kind of an embarrassing story where it's like, I had us play this game at dinner where his friend would list off all of the qualities he's looking for in a girl. And then my friend was like, oh my God, you're describing her. I'm like, okay.
God,
it feels kind of
that's giving
7th
middle
grade.
school. Okay.
Yeah, a little weird. Then she leaves. He's still DMing her nonstop and responding to all of her stories and liking everything. Also, just a heads up, I've never heard someone who goes on so many trips. Both of them, but just her individually. I guess she also has started like a travel blog.
I was about to say me this year. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. We are going on a Disney cruise in 2 months. I decided this last week and I said,
A cruise?
Yep, that's what's happening. Well, I know what you're gonna say.
You guys want to know how my cruise went? I get it. So I went on a cruise. And guys, I'm going to need a drum roll. Are you ready? It was horrible. It was the worst cruise of my life. I hated it.
We broke the cruise streak.
Yeah, I am no longer a fan of cruises. I never want to go on another cruise as long as I live. And that was the worst fucking experience of my life.
And you are right to hold me accountable for my words. But I do think that a Disney cruise is significantly less shitty than a Royal Caribbean cruise in which I will never go again.
Got it.
Because I had a horrible experience. It's still, yes, you are trapped on sea. There's no police. If something happens, you're screwed. Still a thing. But come on, Disney. Mickey comes up to you at breakfast. Give me a break.
We'll circle back after you go.
Circling back. Yeah.
But yeah, so you're going to hear her nonstop. And like, I have a video at some point that I pulled, or actually, no, I counted how many trips that she says that she took, and it's absurd. But you're going to hear her a lot. And I probably even cut some out where it's like, and then I went to Barcelona, and then I went, and they're all international trips too.
Oh, she better work though. I love that.
She says she went straight from Croatia to Barcelona, I think, to meet up with other friends. So that's where we're at now. She's just getting home from that trip.
I land and he sends me a message. What are you doing this weekend? Do you want to go to Ibiza? I didn't want our first weekend to be just partying with his friends. So I ended up telling him no, saying I needed to work. This lit a fire under him and he became more persistent. And maybe like a couple weeks later, he sends me another message. Hey, I have a work conference in Monaco and I would love for you to come. At first I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Like, this is crazy. And then one morning I woke up and I was like, screw it. So I sent him a message. Hey, I've decided I'm going to come. He said, this is the best day ever. I'm so happy. Send me your passport. I'll book the flight. He was just so respectful to me. I remember when he was booking the flights and everything, he was like, don't worry, like I'll get you your own hotel room. He was telling me that, he was living in Copenhagen. He was living in this condo. Obviously he knew that. He told me one day, he said, if we ever end up getting married, you're going to meet the queen. And I remember just like laughing at that comment.
Oh, I wouldn't even laugh at that.
Get ready. This is one of the craziest things. So he says basically that he's Danish royalty.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is a great, it's not true, right?
No,
Obviously.
it's not. No, it's not.
He said, no, I'm being serious. And I said, what do you mean I'll meet the queen? And he said, my family has a royal title. I was like, wait, what? And he sent me this link to this site. It's called the Order of the Elephants. And he said, do some research and we can talk about it. And I said, okay. So I start going through the page. I see someone that had the same last name as him, like some old guy from like the 1700s. And at that point I was like, okay, the worst thing that happens is like, he's a crazy person.
So I cut off. She like rambles a bit about that. But basically she's like, oh my God, is this your great grandpa? And he's like, now you're catching on. And it's just all like very cheesy.
Is it like a site that's Wikipedia that he just edited, or
his
did
last
he
name
just
is
somewhere
Anderson.
along the line? Anderson? Very common. Very common.
So I didn't look, but I'm guessing it was just like a different Anderson.
Is that a Danish last name? Anderson? Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
With an E.
Oh, Anderson.
No, with like an E. Like usually it's S-O-N.
Oh,
it's S-E-N.
I see where the E is. Okay, got it.
And then his like middle name was like Frederick Skard or something. I don't know. Oh, and his first name's Martin. But yeah, so she agrees to go. And I think it's crazy that here she says, well, the worst that could happen is that he's like crazy and I just like go stay in another hotel that I booked myself.
No.
And I was like, that is not the worst that could happen. Are you joking? Like, yeah, that he might be crazy, but it wouldn't be that he's crazy and you're just like allowed to leave.
No, the worst thing that could happen is
sex trafficking.
Death.
Yeah.
There are so many things I could think of, especially in another country. Like, yes, I have met many estranged men in my day. And yes, I have invited them to my home. And that is super dangerous. And I don't recommend that to anyone. But at the same time.
Did you get on an international flight, though, to hang out with only them in another country?
Hell fuck no.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You cannot travel somewhere where you are not from.
Well, not to mention, then you're stuck with someone that, like, what if she ends up not liking him?
And if something happens, even just something like emergency services is different in every place. The number you call is different. The way they treat you is different.
Funny you bring that up because we'll actually encounter that in a minute.
I land, I walk out of baggage claim and I see him. Everything feels peace and joy. And we just proceed to make out in the Nice airport.
Oh, period.
Context, yeah, they make out for 2 minutes and then the next line's gonna make you vomit. But context is that this was like a month in the making. So like it was a month of them talking on the phone every day before she ended up going. So she was like familiar with him, I guess. I mean, still could have gone really bad, I think. But she basically says that they already had like fallen in love on the phone. They didn't video chat because they thought it was more romantic if the next time they see each other was in person. So that's the context. So making out in the airport for 2 minutes.
And so we get to the hotel, we check in, we get to the hotel room, and let's just say we had a wonderful time multiple times. Mom and Dad, I am so sorry for that part.
So
I would like an apology as well. Because also leading up to that, she says that they had to like move away from each other in the taxi cab because they were going to make the driver uncomfortable.
They were real horny.
Yeah.
Listen, who am I to judge? I'm but a simple woman. I've done a few makeout sessions outside of places, In the beginning, it's so passionate. What can I say? I can't dog her for that.
I don't fault her for it happening. I fault how she just relayed that information.
No, we didn't need to know, Queen. But I mean, at the same time, I do get it, especially as much as it is very dangerous. I can see the like appeal of like, oh my God, I'm like flying across the country. It's like this very, forbidden love.
I just can't believe that no one in her life was like, maybe you shouldn't go to Ibiza with a stranger.
My parents would have crashed out. Yeah. No,
I don't think
crazy.
she told her parents until after, actually, which is
what
interesting.
I could be literally 50 years old and my parents need to know where I am every single day. If my brother doesn't answer, my dad's in the family group chat. Like, anyone spoken to Joel today? What's going on? He's literally 33.
And they're like traditional Nigerian, like they like all go back to like those pictures from earlier. It's because they like go back to visit the grandparents in a village.
This hotel is so nice. I've stayed in 5-star hotels before, but I've never stayed in like 5-star hotels that are like a full suite with like private pool. And I like looked up the room and it was like 1,500 to like 2,000 euros a night. And he was like, well, while we're together, I want you to give you the world. And we're sitting at dinner and he's talking about his mom and talking about how he's so protective over her and how much he loves her and how he like would do anything for her. I just felt like I saw his heart. I guess my thoughts had translated to my face because he picked up on some expression and he was like, what is it? And I was like, nothing. Grabs my face and he pulls it close to him. He goes, tell me. And I say, I'm in love with you. And I started bawling my eyes out. And he's just sitting there smiling and he's like, this is like one of the best nights of my life.
Again, who am I to judge?
You're like,
in a similar place with a foreign man.
So he says there that he wants to say it back, but he doesn't want to do it yet because he wants to have his own special moment. So then cut to her going to the bathroom and this happens.
We were at dinner and I'm walking to go to the bathroom and I fall and everything goes black. And the stairs in France are extremely narrow. I remember coming awake and being like, what the fuck is happening? My ex is sitting next to me. He goes, do you have a history with epilepsy? No, I don't have any history with that. Why? He said, because you've been having seizures for the past 10 minutes. I have never had a seizure in my life. They take us to the hospital, about to take us back. My ex couldn't go back with me because they still have super strict restrictions from COVID. He tells me, before you go, I just wanted to tell you that I love you.
What? After the seizure? That's crazy. That was his moment and he claimed it.
Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Tushy.
Tushy is one of my favorite sponsors because my love for bidets knows no bounds. Ever since I tried a bidet, I never looked back. I rarely ever use toilet paper. I know that's hard to believe, but I really rarely do.
Well, you don't have to because it washes, and then some of them have dryers as well.
Yeah, you literally don't have to touch anything, which like in a bathroom is ideal.
They're also super easy to install. They attach to your existing toilet and you don't need any additional plumbing. You just plug it into the water line and you're good to go.
Yeah, even I did it, so that definitely means you can too.
And in addition to just like not needing toilet paper, which is nice, Tushy is also able to remove 99% of bacteria while also protecting your natural skin barrier.
Yeah, and one of the main things I noticed from using a bidet, and when I don't use a bidet, which is why I had to get a travel one because I wouldn't be able to use a bidet on vacation, I noticed the amount of irritation that toilet paper causes. I guess I just never realized before, but once you go back, you're like, oh, this is awful.
Your body's like, no,
it really
we aren't
reduces
doing that anymore.
Irritation, but then also just makes you feel so much cleaner without being too intense, if you know what I mean.
And also Tushy bidets come with a 30-day hassle-free return option, and then also they have a 12-month warranty.
So remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe, and for a limited time, our listeners will get 10% off their first bidet order if you use the code DWKT at checkout.
That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com using the promo code DWKT.
And thank you so much to Tushy for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast.
Immediately, though, I went to the comments and everyone on this video was like, you don't think he had something to do with this? Like, she's never had a seizure before in her life and she just like...
Normally, I would say that's a crazy leap to make. I would say if there's more, Danish Deception, considering that's what this is called, then yeah, I would have some suspicions that he put something in her drink that caused her to have a seizure.
Why he'd really need to, because it's not like she wasn't super down.
He wanted his moment to say, I love you. He said, we're gonna go out with a bang. Like, I want you to first have a seizure and then I'm gonna confess my love to you.
It is a little wild. I'm not accusing him of doing that because, like, who knows? But, like, a lot of people think, they're like, that's really sketchy and weird and a little too coincidental. Yeah. But anyway.
He had already booked a flight to visit me in Dallas in 10 days. He booked it before I even went to Monaco because he was so sure of me and us. It was difficult to come home. I had to tell my parents that we were talking every day because we're in a relationship, and he calls me and he says, hey, I'm considering offering on this apartment complex in Copenhagen. We had talked about his real estate investments in the south of France. He owned 3 apartments in Copenhagen, 2 rented out, 1 as his residence. He said it's fully rented out. It would be such a great investment. The cash flow is great. The only thing is that it's going to take up a lot of my cash liquidity. I told him, whatever you think, I'll support you. I had gone to the south of France with him. I spent 15 euros the entire trip. I tried to pay for stuff. He would not take a dime from me. So at this point, I almost am searching for a way to prove to him that I'm not with him for his money. So I told him, I go, if I need to, take on some more of the financial responsibilities in this relationship, I'm more than happy to do so because this is a partnership and you're there for me when I need you.
If I need to take more of the financial responsibilities, what are you talking about?
I didn't understand the bit about the apartments. What is he, what theoretically would she be doing?
He wants to buy an apartment complex, which takes up his cash liquidity. So it's like the cash he has available would be tied up in this sale, I guess.
Why is that even a problem? Because then it becomes equity and then you could just access it. If you really needed it, you could just either refinance that apartment complex, or you would just sell it and then just get your equity back.
Well, and also I guess if it was an apartment complex that they're renting apartments, you'd start making money back. But yeah. I guess he's saying in the beginning, it would be tight.
Yeah, okay, you'll be a little tighter. That's fine.
Well, and she's like, oh, well, I'll take some of the financial responsibility because he was going to come visit her. So that's why he was telling her.
Okay.
I'm going to be there for you when you need me. He said, I appreciate you saying that, but I don't think it's going to come to that. I said, of course. He offers on it and wins. So he's coming to Dallas and I'm excited because this trip he's going to meet my people and it's getting real. So I planned a brunch and we went to brunch here in Dallas. And my cousin and my ex are having a conversation. And I hear my cousin ask, do you play sports? My ex goes, yeah, I play handball. My cousin goes, isn't that an Olympic sport? My ex goes, yeah, I went to the Olympics twice. I go, you went to the Olympics? And he goes, I was the backup of the backup. I didn't even play. I don't like to brag about it because I don't think it's that big of a deal. I was like, well, did you get medals? He was like, yeah, I got a bronze and a gold. I was like, that's amazing. I'm so impressed.
What would you do if you found out that your new boyfriend was an Olympic athlete?
Well, maybe I'm not the person to speak on this either.
You wouldn't Google that?
No, I might not have.
Wait, what?
It depends on what point of my life you got me in. It depends. Right now, of course I would. But back in the day when I was dating Jonathan and I lived with him and he told me he opened for Boys to Men and that he was in a boy band named C-Note. There was a Jonathan in C-Note. Wasn't him. But yeah, he swore that he opened for them. He also swore that he made it all the way through American Idol, that he was gonna go to Hollywood, but then he got laryngitis or something. And he would always tell me shit like that. And I didn't believe it, but I fully believed it just because I wanted to be with him. So I could relate. I could relate to just being wow, you did this, even though it's such a verifiable thing. Search Boys to Men C-Note concert. Didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They never open for them.
Yeah. And her follow-up is like, oh my God, he's so humble.
Yeah. No, he's making
Because
it up.
he
God
never
bless,
told
but-
her that. It was like the first time she was hearing it was when he told her cousin.
Which is typical like scammer shit, like just throwing in something like that. I mean, I get that you're not going to know everything about someone right away. You're going to find out things in like little trickles, but that's kind of a big one.
If they've
Went to
been
the
talking
Olympics
on the
twice.
phone nonstop for like months now, I
Yeah.
think that would have come up. But it didn't. So this is when she found out, and we'll revisit that later. But spoiler alert, he did not compete in the Olympics.
I figured.
I don't like to brag about it because I don't think it's that big of a deal. I was like, well, did you get medals? He was like, yeah, I got a bronze and a gold. I was like, that's amazing. I'm so impressed. He was leaving to go back to Denmark, and he said, we need to start having the hard conversations on like what we want for the future. We need to decide whether or not we're going to live in Denmark or live in Dallas. And I told him, if you want me to move to Denmark, I'm happy to discuss it. And he said, okay, I'm coming next week, Wednesday. I called him Friday morning, and I found out that the apartment complex that I bought is dealing with some major foundation issues, like it could affect safety of the tenants. I was like, how much is it going to cost? He's like, $50,000. I was like, what's the plan? He's like, I have a good portion of it, so I just need to ask my dad for a little bit of a loan. And I was aware of the fact that like they had this royal title, they had this family trust. I didn't know much of the details, but I talked to my dad on the phone. He will not loan me the money. He says, I've been acting super irresponsible, traveling, doing all these things. I said, you know what? I can loan you the money. He said, no, I'm not taking money from you.
Wait.
So, sorry,
Okay.
that was cut together a little weird. So basically, that was him saying he was asking his dad for a loan to be able to cover it.
He's the one who asked the dad. Okay, I thought she
not
asked her
No.
dad.
Then when that falls through because the dad's like, no, we're not giving you any money. You need to figure it out on your own. Then she's like, I'll just give you the money. And he's like, no, I couldn't take that.
$50,000 is what he needed?
Yeah, but I think it was like she would help him with it. I don't think she was offering to give him 50 grand.
What does she do?
Oh, so
Like,
yeah,
what?
context is he is like the CFO maybe of I don't remember. He does something for like a company that does marketing for real estate. So that's how he's like into real estate as well, I guess. And that supposedly, according to her, he actually does have that job, and he was making like 400 grand a year from just that. I don't know. if I
Sounds like a
believe that.
lot.
It seems like she didn't like. She says that she saw stuff that was like proof of things, but I feel like she didn't really look into said proof, or it was in Danish.
Like he could have handed her a paper, or like a web screen could have been
Yes,
open, and she would have
correct.
probably been like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I think he could have doctored some documents. She worked in like an accounting firm, which is the funniest, most ironic part of this. Not funny, haha, but like, oh my God.
Why? Because she got scammed out of money?
So much money.
Oh yeah, accountants are usually notoriously logical.
And she like majored in accounting, worked in an accounting firm, had her master's in accounting. And so she had a successful job. She was making like $150,000 a year working for this accounting firm. But then on top of that, she also does real estate. So that can make you a lot of money if you're doing it like consistently. She was like less consistent once she started dating him because they were like going on trips every weekend. But she owns her house, she owns her car, everything's paid off, she had no debt, everything was great. She was like had some savings, and she was like financially ready to help. And she was also very set on proving that she was not with him for his money. Like that was something that she was very adamant about.
2 days before he's supposed to come to Dallas, he tells me, just letting you know, I'm not able to come to Dallas because I need to figure out this issue. Just let me loan you the money so that you'll be fine and we can be happy and be together. After some thinking, he's like, fine, I will borrow the money from you, but you have to promise this will be the only time. So I download this app, it's called Revolut.
Wait, why would he have to? Just don't ask her again, and then she
Right?
won't have to lend it.
Literally, I'm like, oh, fine, I guess you can lend me the money. Like that's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it's kind of like Venmo where you can send money internationally instantly. And the next day he flew into Dallas to be with me. And so that trip was really fun. We really didn't do a whole lot. And I think it was just because he was flying a lot, and he said he injured his back when he was playing handball. So I remember I was giving him like back massages like almost every single day because it was really, really bad. And so this trip was very, very short. No, he's coming to Dallas for Thanksgiving to meet my parents, but I didn't know when he was planning on flying back. And so basically he's gone, and I feel like the second he leaves, everything starts to fall apart. His back pain was getting much worse. On top of that, his uncle, who was really sick with cancer, had passed away, and the funeral was next week. I remember telling him, I will fly to Denmark if you want me to be there for you. And he's like, no, it's fine. And I get a text from him. He's saying, hey, my dad's in the hospital. Later on that day, he told me that he had blood poisoning, and he had like his infection numbers were like going crazy. And I remember telling him, well, if you're not able to come to Dallas in November, obviously I'll understand, especially like if your dad's in the hospital, like I understand completely. Over the course of the next couple days, his dad started to show some more improvement. So he ended up deciding to come to visit me in Dallas. Now we're in November of 2022. So he comes back to Dallas. My parents fell in love with him immediately. Watching him with my dad warmed my heart because they instantly connected.
Yeah, she looks real happy, I have to say. She
Cheesing.
does.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It would actually make me feel the opposite. If I remember you having a great time with my parents and them loving you, it would bring me like visceral anger to know that you fucked that up and like were deceiving me the whole time.
No, she's looking back on this with like fond memories. And also, I mean
I mean,
even
that's a real smile of happiness if I've ever seen one.
throughout this entire thing. She cries like at a couple parts towards the end, but like for the majority of it, you would think it's, if you took out the money things, I mean, she says in the beginning, it's a beautiful love story. And it's like, is it?
I thought she was being sarcastic, but
no, I think she was serious.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And my dad, like everyone else, was very fascinated by him. And I remember the following day we went to African market with my parents. It was just me, my ex, and my parents. He's talking to my parents about the Olympics, and they're asking him all these questions. And he was like, yeah, like the gold medal I gave to my mom, she has it. And then the bronze medal, I actually donated it to charity. And I'm just like,
oh, coincidence. You don't have either one.
To charity, I can't.
Yeah, what'd you give it to Goodwill? Like, why the fuck would they use it? I mean, unless it's like for like a Hall of Fame of handballers, I don't see how that's useful.
Right. And then she like goes and visits his family eventually, never asks for the medal or anything.
Oh, that would be my first question. I'll be like, Mama, where's the fucking medal?
It.
And I'm just like, this guy is just so freaking amazing. And so we had an amazing Thanksgiving. It was his first. My grandmother had recently passed away, my dad's mom. It was really, really sad. And he was talking to us about the plans for the burial. And he looks at my dad and he says, I'll be there. And I remember looking at him like, I don't think you really understand what you're agreeing to. And he said, I don't care. I'm going to be there. I'm like, we're talking about the village in Nigeria. And he said, I don't care. I'm going to be there. That was when I realized this man really takes my culture seriously. At the end of the trip, I told him, I know that I want to spend my life with you. I want to marry you someday. I don't want you to ever doubt that. And so he asked me, he's like, I have a question. What are your thoughts on us going ring shopping? And keep in mind, at this point, we've been dating for 3-4 months. We found a jeweler, tried on some rings. Remember, I'm trying on lab grown and natural. And I'm like looking at the price differences. I am not allowing you to buy me a natural stone because that number is crazy. I'd rather us spend money doing other things. He said, let me look into it because I kind of do want to get you natural. Picked out a ring I liked, and then we left. And that was basically the end of like the rings for that moment. And so he goes back to Denmark, and the plan was for me to go on a trip with him for Christmas. So originally we were talking about going to South Africa, like I mentioned before, and then we started looking at flights, and he was like, it's a long trip, I only want to fly business, and they were like $12,000 round trip. And he's like, well, maybe we can make it work. I was like, we are not spending that much on flights to South Africa, that's not happening. And so I started looking at other flights, and then we talked about maybe going to Brazil. I wake up one day, hey, did you book the travel? And he was like, no, I haven't, but there's something to talk to you about. What's up? He goes, I talked to a doctor. My back has gotten really, really bad. It turns out I have 2 herniated discs, and I'm gonna need to get surgery. And he said, I'm gonna have to get surgery December 21st. And I said, oh wow, okay, we don't need to go on a trip. I'll just come to Denmark and I'll help you recover. And he said, actually, no, I don't want you to come to Denmark. I want you to be there, but I don't want that to be the first time you meet my parents. I was really upset because I felt like he wasn't treating me like I was his family. And so I told him, I said, listen, I really want to be there for you. And he was like, honestly, I don't want to like fight about this anymore. Like, let's just put this to rest. And I remember being frustrated because I also didn't have plans for Christmas because my family was gonna be traveling, and I had planned to spend Christmas with him. I reached out to my best friend Natalie. She said, why don't you fly to New York, spend a couple days with me, and then we'll go spend Christmas in Boston with my family. On the second day, I get a message from him. He said, my dad's back in the hospital. His infection numbers are bad, blood poisoning again. He ended up getting diagnosed with leukemia. And I just, I wanted to be there for him. And I said, like, do you want me to come? Like, I want to be there for you. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to navigate through these things without having like your partner there to support you. I'm in constant communication with him, trying to figure out what's happening. And he sends me a message. I think it's on December 23rd, he sends me a message and he says, I'm so angry. I just got into a fight with my sister. He calls me. He's like, I'm so upset. I want to get away.
He tells her at a certain point that he has this very strained relationship with his older sister because she is like abusive, like physically abusive towards the mom.
Okay. Is the sister real?
She's real.
Oh.
The physical abuse is not.
Oh, okay. At this point, after we've covered Elizabeth Teckenbrock and all these, interesting, colorful characters on this show, I don't even try to understand them anymore. They have a really colorful imagination. I feel like, as kids, I feel like we all had that colorful imagination, and then maybe they just never grew out of it.
Yeah, well, and it's because like the sister would have probably told her that he's a con artist, basically.
Scammer.
Yeah.
Freak.
So he was just like trying to put distance between them so like she wouldn't talk to her. But
let me know what you need from me. Like, I'm literally a plane right away. And he said, well, I obviously like now that I'm like don't want to be around my family, I would love to see you. I can book a flight to Copenhagen and stay with you. He said, I feel like I just need to get out of Denmark. He's like, I want to get away. And I said, where do you want to go? He said, I'm in Paris. I said, no. And he's like, let's do Paris. I said, okay. I look at flights. I book a flight from Boston to Paris, for layover in Iceland, and I leave on the 26th, and I get to Paris on the 27th. And he meets me at the airport. Before I had gone to Paris, he had told me that he made a transfer from his business to a personal account. In the States, it's just like a click of a button. Like, I have a business account, it's a click of a button. But he told me that in Denmark, when you make a transfer from your business account to your personal account, it actually has to go through the IRS. They take out taxes and then deposit the money into your personal account.
Yes, in Denmark.
Interesting.
Yeah, he has a lot of weird Denmark quirks that play a role.
Ones that arguably, those are Googleable, I will say.
She just goes, I don't know anything about Denmark, so I don't know. I believed him. I'm like, okay.
So I told him, I said, I can pay for the flights and the hotels. It's not that big of a deal. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah, of course. He's like, I just don't know what I would do without you. Like, I just feel like I keep hitting these roadblocks and you are there to pick up the pieces every single time. Obviously, I paid for a lot of that trip and he paid for a little bit of the trip too. So we both kind of paid. And keep in mind, he still owes me $6,000. I should have been noticing these red flags, like, where's my money? This is someone I am planning on marrying. Money comes and goes. I was focused on us. So we finish our trip in Paris, say our goodbyes, and we start just, getting depressed as we always do when we say goodbye. And I board my flight to Dallas, and he asked me, what are your thoughts on us meeting with an immigration attorney? We set up a meeting and we were discussing the process, and she tells us it's going to take 18 months for you guys to get all of this process after the time you get married. And I was like, 18 months? There's two different types of ways to get a permanent residency in the United States. There's consular processing, and then there's another way where you basically apply for the visa and you're living in the States full time while you're processing the visa. So because he was working a lot and traveling a lot for work, and because of his dad's health, we decided we would do consular processing, because why not? But then we start having the discussions on, okay, but the clock starts after we get married. He says, well, I would marry you tomorrow. And I was like, well, I would marry you tomorrow. And he was like, wait, really? This man is actually not my ex-fiance. He is my ex-husband.
Why did she smile when she said that?
It's so weird. I don't know.
Actually, he's my ex-husband. It's
borderline. I'm waiting for him to like pop out of the background and be like, "Hey,
I'm so
plot
done.
twist,
Just
we're still together."
Walk in the back with his boxers on. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, and the problem is that she does say a few times where it's like, I should have seen the red flags, but like she's also kind of pointing out that like she did see the red flags. She just like blatantly ignored them.
Yeah.
Everyone said she's very much in love with the idea of him and like what having him on her arm like does for her identity and like how she looks to other people. And she eventually, after they're already married, hard launches him, but like very Instagram heavy, very like, look how wonderful our life is, and look how much fun we have, and we go on all these trips, and look how hot we are. And
yeah, I mean, I think people in general, and her saying like that she had never had a real relationship, or you said that she said that before this, like I do think that at a certain age people just think like, oh, I'm supposed to be here, and they do stupid shit to accomplish that.
And it sounds like she just believed things because it was like she wanted the image and like what her belief of what this relationship was. It was basically she put him on a pedestal and then really just went into denial to make everything seem like it was okay.
And he was like, I'm going to probably take a loss. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get as much of my down payment back. And I was like, how much are you going to end up getting back? He said, probably around $500,000. And I was like, well, that's, a good solid base for us to have. And I was more than okay with that. Keep in mind, he still does owe me money at this point. So they end up going under contract. The plan is for the house to sell by the end of January. Everything seems smooth. And then one day he calls me and he tells me that he's had the worst day ever. And I'm like, oh, now what? He's frantic. He's like, there's a fire in the control room, the electrical control room at the apartment complex we bought. There's no power. Like no one has power. He's like, I just paid this guy $2,000 to bring generators to power up the whole entire apartment. I have an electrician coming, and he's like freaking out. And he basically used all of his money he had to put towards like the generators and paying the electrician. And I was like, okay, what now? And he was like, I need help. At this point, he has now asked me for help. He said, can you send me $5,000? And I said, yeah, I can help. And so at first we wanted to go to Vegas. And then we looked into it, and Denmark does not recognize marriages that are done in Vegas, because you can get the marriage certificate and get married in the same day. Same thing with Colorado. Shout out to Denmark. I love that rule. But we're like, it's fine. We should just save money. Let's just do it in Dallas, and then we can go do a little weekend trip to Broken Boat, Oklahoma, which is like this cute lake town, and that can be our honeymoon.
You're gonna do your honeymoon in Broken Boat, Oklahoma?
Also, like,
no offense.
You just had to lend him $5,000, and now you're talking about going on honeymoon. Like, it's just all like,
not very romantic.
Okay,
I will say, lending somebody $5,000 does not make me feel like I want to go have sex with you in Broken Boat, Oklahoma.
When he already owes her $6,000 also.
Oh, I missed that part. He owes her that for what?
From the first time when he was like, don't let this happen again.
Oh, the last time. Right.
Yeah,
the time before
I
this
believe,
time.
unless I missed any in between, that we're at $11,000 now.
He tells me that one of his really close friends that owns a plumbing, and said that his partner is like doing some like shady stuff. He's like scared that he's going to get like implicated. He wants my ex to buy out his partner, and he's asking him for a loan of $250,000. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. We're about to get married, so I feel I can insert my opinion about the situation. So I asked him, I'm like, is this just a handout, or is this going to be a good investment? And he was like, well, I think it's gonna be a really good investment. Like, he has ideas to expand the business. To me, if you can help a friend and have a good investment, I think that makes a lot of sense. We have this money coming in. Let's invest it. And I own this house here, and we don't have any big purchases coming up, so it's okay. I wasn't really stressed and pressed about it. And so basically I was like, okay, the house is gonna close at the end of the month, and then he'll be able to like pay me back the money that he owes me, and he'll be able to help his friend, and everything will be good to go. So he ends up coming back to Dallas. We get our marriage certificate. We set our wedding date for February 10th. The night before our wedding, he got really bad food poisoning, which I feel like should have been another sign that this was 100% the wrong decision to make. But instead I was like, hey, in sickness and in health, like, whatever happens, we're gonna make it through it. He doesn't really have any money. I remember he looked at me, he goes, I'm sick, I'm broke, you wanna marry me still? I said, I don't care. I love you. And we're getting married.
I feel like she is also leaving out. It's like, it wasn't that he was broke and you were okay with it. It was that he was broke right now, but you were anticipating that he had like a lot of funds coming in. So she's like waiting for him to get
income.
She's waiting for like $500,000 to hit his account. So it's like she didn't go into this relationship being like, for rich or for poor. It's like, no, we're going to be rich.
Well, and also just in general, and I think that a lot of scammers do kind of hook people this way. And I think even that Netflix documentary of that guy who like scammed like 1 billion girls that he was dating. I forgot what it was called.
The Tinder swindler.
Hook you by spending money on you. Yes, the Tinder swindler. Yes. They hook you by spending money and like, or like presenting a lifestyle to you that indicates I am not using you.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, that's a big difference than like you met him in a random club in Dallas and like he had a shitty car and like lived in either his parents' house or something. Then that's really ride or die. Then you're just like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care if you have money or not. But
she's just like sticking it out through the rough
approach.
Times. Yeah. And people did point out that every time she lends him money, which I don't know if this lines up for every single time, but like most of the times where she lends him money afterwards, it seems like that is when they're about to go on a trip that he suddenly can pay for. So it's like he's loading up his bank account again and then he can do it. And he's like, oh, I just came into this.
But I was thinking of like, how was he, if he was this like prolific scammer, how was he paying for her stuff in the beginning with things that were like 1,500 pounds a night? But he was probably scamming another girl.
He scams tons of people, like everyone in her life, basically.
Perfect. Before we continue, we really quickly want to thank our next sponsor, and that's Cozy Earth.
Cozy Earth makes my new favorite sheets. I never had a pair of favorite sheets before, but
me neither.
I do now. They're the softest things ever. And I feel like usually you have to pick between like cool sheets or warm sheets, and you don't have to pick with these because they're temperature regulating and guaranteed to give you a comfortable night's sleep. They're made from viscose from bamboo, and they naturally wick away heat and moisture from your body, helping you sleep several degrees cooler.
Not to mention, they are very, very durable. I have washed my sheets a million times. My kids absolutely test this to the max, and there is zero pilling. It's just as soft as the day I got it, which makes sense because Cozy Earth offers a 100-night sleep trial. So that gives you very adequate time to try it out, wash it, see how you feel. And if you don't love them, you could return them hassle-free, but trust me, I don't think you're gonna want to.
And just in case, they also have a 10-year warranty. So they're pretty confident with the durability of their sheets as well, I think. And Black Friday has come early at Cozy Earth. Right now, you can stack our code DWKT on top of their site-wide sale, giving you up to 40% off in savings. That's CozyEarth.com using the code DWKT and you get up to 40% savings.
And these deals aren't going to last long, so make sure to start your holiday shopping today. And if you get the post-purchase survey when you make your purchase, it helps us out a lot if you let them know that the Girlies sent you. And thank you so much to Cozy Earth for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast.
Morning of our wedding, he couldn't afford a ring. He got on one knee. I woke up that morning and he's down on one knee next to the bed and he was like, I know this isn't the proposal you dreamed of. We got married and I thought this was one of the best days of my life. I was so happy. After the wedding, he stayed in Dallas for about a week and then he goes back to Denmark. While he's in Denmark, he says the funds came through. He transferred the money to his friend for the investment in the plumbing business. And he said that he was about to set up a transfer for me for the money he owed me, which was about $10,000 at that point. And so a couple weeks go by, I still haven't received the money. I'm not super pressed about it because I still am like fully trusting him at this point. And he ends up booking his flight to come back to visit in March. He calls me a couple of days before he's about to come to Dallas and he tells me he's had the worst news that he possibly could have. The IRS has told him that he owes $318,000 in taxes. His dad owes $12 million in taxes. At this point, I did not have a lot of information about his family money. I've always been the type of person, like, if your parents have money, that does not mean you have money. Details about his parents' finances, his parents owe $12 million in taxes. They got money. And he's like, we've been paying a lot of money in taxes.
Well, if somebody owes $12 million
then I'm guessing
in taxes,
they don't have any money.
or if they do, they're about to not.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure.
Over the years. So someone must be committing some sort of fraud. I'm obviously freaking out. This is a lot of money he owes. So he said, I'm going to use the rest of the proceeds from selling my home. He told me he owns 3 watches, 2 Rolexes and a Patek, which if you're not a watch person, these are very expensive watches. And so a couple hours go by. He's like, I sold my Patek watch and he said he's short $30K. He tells me he's going to reach out to his parents and his parents are like, we don't care. Like, this is not our problem. This is your problem. He starts spiraling. He tells me he's going to reach out to 2 of his childhood friends, one of which he was with this friend whenever we met in Croatia. And he told me I've helped out these friends so much in the past. Like, and it's almost like he was communicating to me that he was owed this money from them. Says he's going to get $10,000 from one friend and the $5,000 from another. And so at this point, he's short $15,000. He just comes right out and asks me, like, can I borrow it? And I did not say yes right away. I said, listen, I have to pay my taxes too. I did well the year before, so I owed a pretty penny in taxes. I told him I'm not comfortable giving this money. And now my savings, I'm starting to feel like the financial impact and it's starting to stress me out. And he said, you know, I hired a law firm. They've already looked into my tax records. They've already found indicators of fraud. I think I'm going to be able to get this turned around really quickly. And my biggest worry and concern is that if I don't pay this tax bill, it's going to affect my chances of getting a green card. And that's when I start to panic. And after some time, he talks me into loaning him $15,000. And this was not something I kept quiet about. I told my parents, siblings, like my ex got this crazy tax bill, and I was very upfront and honest about it. I did not tell them I was loaning him money. It's just that he owed a lot in the overall situation.
Oh, so you didn't
I was really upfront about them. I told them everything. And then she goes, well, but I didn't tell them that I gave him money.
It was just, I gave it. It's just that he needed it.
Yeah.
And that's
literally
not very transparent.
Yeah, no, I thought that was crazy. So yeah, no one in her life knows that she has lent him any money. And she just gave him $15,000 on top of the $11,000 she already owed him. It's $26,000.
To say my family would be crashing out is an understatement.
Well, that's why they don't know.
Right. I'm assuming.
Yeah. About 5 days later, he flies to Dallas. My parents definitely started to bond with my ex over this trip. Like after a week, we ended up going to Cabo for one of my childhood friends' wedding. Decided to go early and celebrate our honeymoon. Like, what's up? He said, one of my friends, the friend that he had received $5,000 from for the tax bill, reached out to me and said he's freaking out because his wife really wants to buy this house and he's short a certain amount of money. And obviously he was like, I feel so bad because he loaned it to me and helped me out. At this point, I felt like the friend had loaned us the money. We were married. I ended up loaning him an additional $3,000 not even a week after I'd already given him $15,000. I ended up giving him $18,000. And at this point,
plus the $11,000 you already gave him
so many times. And so I decided, now's my time to go spend time with him in Europe. And I head to Denmark, and my ex is waiting after baggage claim. He's waving a Danish flag. And the following day, we go to his parents' house. This is my first time meeting his parents, and I am so nervous. I've always done well with parents, but there's not a whole lot of Black people in Denmark, so they're not used to meeting people that look like me. Lived in a very, very humble home. Drive Honda Civics. I was a little bit surprised.
So the Danish royalty lives in a modest home and drives Honda Civics.
I just feel like she didn't follow up a whole lot.
I know.
But it is hard. It's a hard situation.
It's like she didn't know that it was going towards like nothing, that the reasoning was that his motives behind it were bullshit, but she was a little willy-nilly with her trust and finances.
He kept saying, do you want to go stay in a hotel or Airbnb? Do we want to stay here? And I'm like, why would we not stay here? Like, I know it's not nice. It's a super old house. You haven't renovated it. Like, I don't understand. They have all this money. Like, why don't they do it? I'm like, it's fine. We'll be okay. We get ready to travel to Nigeria for my grandmother's burial. We're staying in this hotel. Get ready and hop on a flight to Nigeria. Keep in mind, he had paid for all the hotels, everything in Denmark, and he paid for all the hotels and flights for Nigeria.
Just gave him
so
$15,000.
we hop on a plane, go to Nigeria. I'm super nervous because I just don't know what to expect and how he's going to react. He was meeting my extended family, like my grandmother. I never thought I would bring a man home to meet my grandmother. I felt like I fell deeper in love with him, watching him just immerse himself in my culture. And he tells me in Nigeria, the law firm has settled his taxes and they're filing a document for the accounting firm to pay out a settlement, and it'll be paid out soon. We come back to Denmark, and at this point, we are trying to figure out what our plan is. He walks up to me and says, I have some really good news. As my realtor reached out and said there's a very wealthy family that is interested in purchasing this apartment complex. There is one caveat. Apparently, the buyer and the seller to put money into escrow so that if the seller changes their mind of selling the house, they get liquidated damages. Basically, make sure the deal goes through. I have never experienced anything like this in my real estate career. Denmark is a different country. I didn't really know how real estate worked there. No, I remember being like, how much is it going to be? And he's like, it's going to be $120,000. He said, I'm going to be able to come up with a loan, get a loan from a bank for $100,000. So we're going to be short another amount. And at this point, but my savings had been dwindling. He's like, we should make this deal work. And he said that he was going to take his watches to a store to see if he could get it sold with. He's like, how much money do you have? And I was like, gave him like a small amount, maybe like $3,000. I wanted to make sure I had enough money for like.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
So yeah, that was a lot.
Why did he need money for
someone else to buy
him selling?
Yeah,
the apartment
because
complex?
Allegedly, according to him, in Denmark, because everything is apparently very different in Denmark.
Works very well for him
it does.
Denmark, I will say.
The circumstances definitely always lean in his favor. He claims that the buyer and the seller have to put money into escrow. In case the deal falls through.
When you sell a house in Denmark, you also have to buy the house. What are you talking about?
I think supposedly he would be getting that money back, but like to do it up front, he would have to put money into it.
He always will get it back,
Of course.
So I just wanted a little bit of cushion. He ended up coming up with the money. He says the deal goes through and that it's going to close in 6 weeks. He said we should take a trip to celebrate. I'm like, we don't have any money. He was like, we can use your credit cards because, like we'll be able to pay it off whenever the money hits. We ended up going to Portugal for a week.
What do you mean?
Not the credit cards he's suggesting they use being just hers.
It's insane. Like literally, it's like, well, and then he thought we should go celebrate. It's like, you've gone on trips every weekend.
I love a celebration trip.
Oh my God.
As much as the next person.
It's every weekend. Like literally anytime she's telling a story, she's like, and then we were there for 3 days. And then we decided we were going to go to Paris. And then we went to Barcelona. And then we went to Portugal. And it's like, huh?
Crazy.
He was able to pay a little bit of the trip and I was able to pay a little bit of the trip. So we go to Portugal. We had the most spectacular week. I remember that was the week that I decided I want to get married in this country. One day in Portugal that I was just complaining about working. I'm like, I'm so over this job and I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I was complaining about it. And he just said, why don't you quit? He said, we have this money coming in and I want you to be happy. And so I told him it's going to be a transition, not making a lot of money. At first he said, you have a cushion and luckily I make money. I'm going to be able to afford all the bills and you can just focus on building your business back up.
I will say that is wild for a scammer.
To tell her
I can see how she's confused. I will say, because that is crazy. If you're suggesting as a scammer for the person who's funding whatever the fuck you're doing to quit their job so they will no longer be able to do that, that is very confusing. She may be onto something that maybe part of their love was real. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what his motive in a lot of this is. It's like, is he planning on fucking her over, or is he in it and like, is he delusional?
He may just be like an Elizabeth Teckenbrock, which is like a mixture of scammer with just like a twisted personality.
Yeah, where it's like pathological liar, and it's like, no, and just like detrimental optimism, where it's like everything will be fine, and even though he like has zero plan and nothing's gonna be fine, and he owes a bunch of people money.
Yeah.
I'm back to Denmark, and we're in Denmark for maybe a day, and then we travel back to Dallas. Now I'm accruing like a little bit of credit card debt. My savings is like nothing. Go back to Dallas, and I remember his sister and her boyfriend came to visit us for a week. We have a great trip with them, and go to Miami and meet up with his best friend.
Why
and his
are you
girlfriend.
going
And this
to
was the
Miami?
best friend he was with whenever I met him in Croatia.
She's a traveling girl. She's a jet setter. I love it. I have the traveling bug myself.
No,
at
it
this
is
moment. I do
wild
understand.
to have a 27-part story time about how you were financially just like drained by this man, but then within the story, you're going on trips every single weekend.
I will say that's my one caveat. Like, I understand the like want for vacation and stuff like that, but like also I feel like that makes more sense. Like if you have like money to spend, you're just like, oh my God, like of course I would want to do it on an experience rather than going to buy a handbag somewhere. But if you don't have it, maybe stop for a little bit.
It waters down like how much like were you financially struggling, because it seems like you weren't, because most people that are financially struggling aren't going to be like, oh my God, and then my savings was dwindling and I had nothing and I was so nervous, but then we went to Miami and then we went to Key West and then
I'm
we went
not
to
gonna lie, that's actually debatable. Like I am on credit card debt TikTok, and literally there are people who have $100,000 in debt. There are 21-year-olds filing for bankruptcy because they are living so far beyond their means, and they're doing things like this and putting it all on credit cards that they're getting approved for.
But that's like, she hasn't put that much on her credit cards. Like a lot of it was just like she actually took up all of her savings. She's just willing to then rack up the credit card debt because she believes that he's going to give her the money back, but like he has yet to.
No, I know. Like he has not even given her an inch, and she's like letting him
he
just
pays
like get
for
away
one
with
trip
so much.
in the middle of everything, and she's like, oh well, look it, he's good for it.
Yeah.
We're in Miami, and for the most part, we're using my funds for this trip because he's obviously put most of his money into this escrow account. And I'm expecting this money to hit like any day now. A couple of days after Miami, we went to Denmark to celebrate his mom's 70th birthday. We had promised her we would go. So now it's August of 2023, and we're in Denmark at his parents' house, and he comes to me, he's like, hey, I just got off the phone with the IRS. They flagged the transaction from the apartment complex. They set a hearing date for September 10th. It's the middle of August.
Flagged.
There's so many different buildings and like deals that he's waiting on. It's just none of them happened.
They're all in the pipeline. But am I dumb, or is the IRS not just an American thing?
No, she refers to it as the IRS, but she does specify at one point that she's talking about the Danish IRS.
Okay, yeah. That definitely confused me.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so now I have to be struggling for another month. We celebrate his mom's 70th birthday, and I meet the older sister. She is just such a nice, kind, wonderful
the abusive
human.
Sister.
You mean the one that beats her mom?
Correct.
Can't picture her being this evil, crazy woman that beats his mom.
Oh. So then there's another whole beat about like they notice the dad isn't looking very well, and he goes back into the hospital again. The dad has been in the hospital like 4 times, I think.
Yeah, no, poor guy. Was he actually?
This time she was there, so it's like, yes, for sure he was, but like who really knows for the early
extent of it.
Yeah.
The day of his meeting with the IRS, they scheduled a second hearing for my business account, January 10th, and my personal account is also under investigation. So they put a hold on my assets. Basically, they froze his assets and told him that he only had like a specific amount of allowance that he was able to use from his money every single month. And the only thing I can do is trust him. There's no one in my life that I was talking to about any of this because I am fully financially supporting us. He's getting maybe $4,000 a month.
That makes me sad because it makes me feel like she did know, she just didn't want to accept it. And that's why she
And that's what I said. I was like, she definitely is saying that she saw the red flags, and she acts like, oh yeah, I should have seen it. But it's like, well, you just said that you did see it though, and you just were like ignoring it.
IRS is like allowing him to use and ends up working out in our favor. And his account opens up in October. He immediately sent me, I think like $9,000. And he said his business account where the 10 million was supposed to.
He's running a Ponzi scheme. So he transfers to one person to keep them, you know, calm. 100%. And then he does it to another person. Allegedly, of course. Not that he has the money to sue me.
And even I think what he was doing with her, where it's like, I need it for the apartment complex. There is no apartment complex. So actually then he's just using it for the next trip to be like, oh, look it, this came through. Now I can afford this.
Yeah.
In reality, he's now just like in debt to someone else.
What a stressful life. I cannot imagine living like that. That would drive me insane.
It's insane, yeah.
I was having hearing set for January 10th. December rolls around and his 90 days of being in the States is about to be up. So he went back to Denmark at the beginning of December. And so my plan was to go and meet him in 2 weeks. He's in Denmark for about a week and he sends me a message and he says, my dad's back in the hospital. And I was like, at this point, the plan was for me to go to Denmark and spend Christmas with his family. And he asked me, he's like, what are your thoughts if I move up your flight for you to come in a week? And I said, I need to tie up some things for work, but I would love to be there for you. And originally the plan was my ex wanted to stay at this hotel called Hotel d'Angleterre in Copenhagen for one night before we went to his hometown to like be with his family. He hadn't booked any hotels or anything. And like the day before, he tells me that he just got charged this huge insurance payment for his 2 apartments. Basically, it wiped out like everything he had. After Christmas, we had gone to a champagne party at one of his friend's homes. Ex is inside the home. And his best friend tells me, he goes, you guys should come out tonight. I was like, I'm down to go out, but my ex doesn't want to go out. And then his best friend looks at me, he goes, oh, he probably doesn't want to run into any of his enemies from his past gambling addiction. I looked at him and I said, what gambling addiction? His best friend goes, you didn't know he had a gambling addiction? No, I had no idea. He told me, I told you. I go, he absolutely did not tell me. I've loaned him a lot of money over a year and a half. He said he owed me money. He paid me back the money he owed me, but he did take money from me at one point. It was like 10 years ago. Immediately, I'm like, can you go inside the house and get him?
Oh.
So yes, she finds out at this
So maybe
party.
a motive that he's taking the money for that? Like, that kind of makes sense.
Oh, well, it also just that it's like that's where all the money is going.
No, that I know that marriage is supposed to be for better or for worse, but a gambling
She takes
addiction
that a
would send me
little
into
too
spiral.
seriously. She's like, it's a disease. And it's like,
It is. No, literally, there's a reason they don't have any balconies in Vegas except for at the Cosmopolitan. Okay, it literally is a disease and it ends people's lives. And I do get it. Damn, what can I even say? Because even addiction in general, like drugs, they drain money too.
No, for
and gambling
sure.
feels so like oh my God, that's fucking crazy.
It's the gambling, but it's also then the lying that comes with it.
That's addiction. Yeah. No, I would totally be so heavily concerned. And the fact that we're not even halfway through is very concerning. I will say.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like this keeps happening and she just keeps being like, oh, well,
we'll make it through.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I kept a few parts where it's her going, well, we can make it through anything. And it's like, is the anything you're referring to him taking your money? Because like, you can make it through it because you keep staying. What are you doing?
He goes, what's wrong, babe? I said, do you have a gambling addiction? I screamed it in his face. I did not care that I was causing a scene. He goes, I mean, I did, but it was 10 years ago, which did check with what his best friend said. I was young, I was dumb, I was stupid. I would never go back to that. And I'm like, let's play back all the times that I've given you money. Tell me how to make this make sense. And he's like, I have truly just had a year of so many downs. I would never in a million years gamble away your money. And I don't know what to do to prove it. And I was like, this insurance payment that you just told me about, I'm gonna need to see proof of that. At this point, I'm like, I need to see. I've been drinking all night and she ended up going to bed that night. And the next morning, I'm obviously still very angry, very hurt. After he finishes working, I'm like, we need to go for a walk because obviously his parents were home and didn't know what was going on. And his parents were really old at this point. I just like didn't want to bring like drama to the family. I should have brought the whole family into what was going on. My instinct was to protect him. We go on a walk and pulls up this document showing me the invoice from the insurance and it aligns with like the amount that he told me that.
Took him a day to get that though.
I was about to say, so he had like
the
24 hours to produce this document.
Correct.
Even Elizabeth Teckenbrock could have it in that time.
You know me. Do you really think I'm capable of doing this and taking your money? I looked him in the eye and I was like, I mean, no, because at this point I had never ever seen a side to him that would hurt me. I feel like he always had my best interest and he was just a guy going through hard times. And especially because he showed me proof, I asked to see his bank statements and everything checked out. So I let it go. And I said, okay, if I catch you in a lie again, we're gonna have problems. I had plans to go to Budapest for New Year's and we found some really cheap flights and a cheap hotel. We didn't spend a whole lot of money on that trip. We went there for New Year's, had a good time. I paid for that entire trip. After Budapest, we went back to Copenhagen for one day and I went back to Dallas and he stayed in Copenhagen because he had a bunch of work meetings. I'm home and obviously stressing about this upcoming hearing and I knew it was on January 10th and wanted to see if he would bring it up because a part of me was like, I feel like he's lying about all of this. January 9th comes around and long and behold, he says, oh, my hearing is tomorrow.
She says, long and behold, I died when I heard that.
Oh my God, my queen. Somebody who's like,
Jesse's like, she has done no wrong.
The way I literally just heard that in my whole heart
I had
just
to
like
replay
perked
it
up.
because I was like, did she just say what I think she said?
Yeah, if you guys don't know, for literally all of my life, actually, I have said long behold instead of lo and behold. Yeah. And that sparked like years ago a whole thing where like
it was like maybe our second episode.
Yeah, it sparked a whole thing where like people were just like, oh my God, these are sayings we said wrong. And we were just like cracking up about it. I'm gonna need like some sort of hand of applause. What is it? Hand of applause?
Round of applause.
Oh my God, this is not what the episode is about. And if you're here for the drama, you're gonna be annoyed immediately because we're just gonna start off on a roller coaster. But basically, can you guys please leave below sayings that you've gotten wrong your whole life? Because I tweeted that once and I was crying laughing at the responses. Mine personally was, I used to say instead of lo and behold, I used to say long behold. And long behold, long behold. The fact that she also says long behold, I will say I've switched it, but I also just don't use it anymore. Not as fun when it's lo and behold. I like long better, I will say. But I love that so much. Thank you for leaving that. Okay.
If he had just like breezed past the date, I would have felt like, okay, he's lying about this whole everything, the business account. The next day, he has a hearing. They ended up deciding to put an 18-month hold on my account. I'm so frustrated. Nothing is going our way. He said, it's only 18 months. You're doing well. I was doing well with real estate. And he's like, I have my job and I don't foresee any crazy things happening. So we'll be fine. Don't worry. We'll be okay.
I don't foresee any crazy things happening after crazy things like continue to happen.
Yeah, I was about to say, forgive me if I don't, trust your vision. if you will.
You don't have too much faith in your predictions.
And that's when he shows me email confirmation from his lawyer confirming an 18-month hold on this account. Fast forward to February 10th. It's our anniversary. We decided we're gonna go out that night. We talked originally about going on a vacation, but ended up canceling to save money. So we ended up just being here for our anniversary. We went to a nice restaurant in Dallas, and he's ordering like really expensive wine. Like I think he ordered like a $400 or $500 bottle of wine. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, it's our anniversary. And I'm like, I know, but we need to be saving money. And then afterwards, one of my good friends was at a cocktail bar and said, hey, you guys should come and meet us. And we go to this cocktail bar. My friend is there. She's celebrating a birthday of another one of her friends, someone that not super close friends with, and they're with like a big group of girls. My ex is like, I'm gonna buy everyone shots. Just like kind of expensive. And I'm like, is that really necessary? I looked around and everyone had drinking. Like, we don't need to do that. He's like, oh no, it's her birthday. I'm like, you don't even know who that girl is. Like, why does it matter? And I realized like he's running up a bill. He's chugging old fashions. And he wasn't the biggest drinker. Like he drank and sometimes he would get like really drunk, but it was like pretty rare. And most times he could drink and handle his alcohol very well. He's having a conversation with my friend and I see like a little bit of spit come from his mouth and like land on like her shoulder and she wiped it away. And I was like, what the fuck is that? That's disgusting. He's drank his like third old fashioned. And then I look up and he's ordering another one. And I look at him, I say, are you sure you should order another drink? He goes, who do you think you are to tell me what I can and can't drink? I said, do you need to have another drink? Do we need to get belligerent tonight? He's going off on me saying I'm disrespecting him and I shouldn't be telling him to slow down. He's a man. I'm confused because we've never had arguments like this before. And I'm like, what's your problem? And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go. And I was like, okay, let's go. We get into the Uber and I'm like, what is your problem? He's like, I just don't like it when you disrespect me in public. And I was like, I didn't disrespect you. I told you right next to you, no one else around. I just said, maybe you should slow down on the drinking. I don't know what happened next, but this intense fight spiraled out. A couple days go by and I get a message from one of my girlfriends. She says, hey, did you know that your ex owes my husband $200,000?
What? Red flag!
Girl, how is this? We're like approaching the halfway mark. How is that possible?
So keep in mind, going through the rest of the story, she knows now that and she finds out that it was like under shady circumstances, that he owes her friend $200,000.
I look at him, I go, what the fuck is this? And he was like, oh, well, we were working this crypto deal, selling watches at a profit, and he's being super picky about how much profit he went, trying to find the right buyer, but I'll be fine. So you have this money you owe and you lied to me about it? He's like, well, money's currently in watches and it's gonna be fine. Like, I need to sell them. Even though it's red flags, I'm like, there's something up. I'm really upset because you don't borrow this amount of money from a friend and not discuss it with your wife. What he did not know was that I was going to message my friend separately to ask her husband if the story that was communicated by my ex was true. And she responds to me, no, this is not correct. And at this point, it's the husband that's communicating. I'm gonna refer to these individuals as Crypto and Crypto's wife. He told me he had the watches sold a long time ago. He told me he was gonna transfer the money. And, you know, when his dad was in the hospital, I was trying to be respectful. And just so you know, I had someone look into the wallet that I sent money to, and it's been linked to a gambling website since 2023. That's when I realized he was gambling. In that moment, I fully collapsed to the ground. I remember I was in the kitchen. I grab his face and I pull it to me and I scream in his face. I said, tell me the fucking truth. And he looks at me, he goes, okay, I've been gambling. And had a showing 30 minutes after that. I went upstairs, I changed, and I grabbed my keys and I left the house and I went and showed a house. And it was bizarre. I was in front of clients smiling, even though everything around me felt like it was crumbling. So he's obviously texted me like, please, like, come home after your showing, like, I want to have a conversation. And I'm saying, right now, I just feel like I can't talk to you. So I went to a park and I called my best friend Natalie. It made me feel so good because I could release everything. She was 100% there for me. She lives in New York, but she was like, whatever happens, I don't give a fuck about him. I give a fuck about you. So where do we go from here? And I was like, I don't know. I'm with this man I love more than anything. I find out he's been lying to me. I find out that he's stolen money from our friends and I'm just like completely wrecked. I don't know where to go from here. She's like, this is the rest of your life. This isn't something that just goes away. This is addiction. And she had experience with gambling addiction and has seen the damage. She said, this is the rest of your life. Whatever you decide, I will support you, but this will be the rest of your life. So after that, I go inside the house and he's like, I want to talk. And I'm like, I still was not ready to talk to him, but I decided to call Crypto's wife. I talked to her on the phone and the first thing I said, I just started bawling my eyes out. I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt so much guilt that I didn't know all this stuff was happening. I had no idea. I just told her, I'm so sorry. Let me just take a moment and tell you, I don't know if Crypto and Crypto's wife are going to come forward, but they are the most beautiful people I've ever known. After what they went through, they had every right to go to the police and ruin our lives. Instead, they had empathy and love for me. They were just like, whatever we can do to support you. Money comes and goes. We'll figure that out. What can we do to support you? I don't know how to be with someone that lies to me and that I don't trust, but
I have to say, all these people are so fucking rich. You lent him $200,000?
Yeah. And that they were like, well,
who has that?
Money comes and goes.
Usually goes more than it comes, but okay.
Yeah, but again, like she's taking international trips every weekend. So like clearly she's running in a circle where they have a lot of money.
Yeah, but at the same time, $200,000 to somebody that's the husband of somebody you know, like that's wild. $200,000 is like life-changing and could like be a deposit for your home or like something that makes more sense.
I guess the idea though is that it wasn't like he was just giving him $200,000. It was that it was an investment in like a business opportunity.
Oh, no, I understand
that was going to make him more and it just didn't. I just think it's crazy and everyone points out and she addresses it at a certain point. But like they continue to go on trips all the time after all of this.
After this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
where
crazy.
it's like, isn't that
That's
kind of a
fucking
slap
nuts.
in the face to the people that you owe $200,000 with? But they knew that she had launched a travel blog and had put a lot of money into that. And it was like, what? Basically, that they understood that they would be traveling and that they had given their blessing. It's like,
I don't get it.
okay.
I don't get it.
That's still
Okay.
weird, but sure.
I got married. We said our vows in sickness and in health, and this is a sickness. Crypto tells me, how would you feel about me hiring a PI to look into his past? And I said, 100%, please do it. Big thing, my ex did not go to the Olympics.
I'm so dead. I didn't expect that. I was not expecting that particular sentence to
She
come out of her
leads
mouth.
with like that he didn't have any criminal history. And it's like, okay, because he hasn't gotten caught yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did find that he is not an Olympian. Shocker.
Could have seen that one coming.
I was sick to my stomach, felt embarrassment. Why did I not look this up? And I think the reason I didn't look it up is because the way he downplayed it was like backup of the backup. It was like an afterthought to me. It's also why I didn't like bring it up to other people. And I started looking through our WhatsApp messages and videos, trying to just reflect on all the things that he told me. And I see the photos that he sent me of his apartment in Copenhagen, the one that he sold a year prior. And so I downloaded the photos and then I reverse Google image searched them, and it pulled up an interior designer's home in Germany. I just felt like I could not say goodbye to him. And I really just felt like disease is the enemy, not him. And especially like with the challenges that we had already gone through, I felt like we were invincible, like we could overcome anything. That's the mentality.
So now you're overlooking not just that he took $200,000 from a friend of yours without telling you. He was lying from the very beginning about even where he lives. Why would he need to show a super nice apartment? Like he could just like not even show the apartment, I feel like. Maybe they were exchanging pictures. I don't know. But like, this is past just like gambling and he needs money. It's like, no, he's lying about his lifestyle.
Everything.
So he can then get you to give him money because you think that he lives this lifestyle. So it's normal that he would like have money coming and going. It's not. He doesn't have any money. He never did.
We had already had a trip booked to Colombia because he only could be in the States for 90 days. So we're like, where can we go that's affordable and reset the 90 days without having to fly all the way back to Denmark? I had a feeling that he had had the ring for some time and that he was going to propose.
Propose? I thought they were married.
They are. And I think this is so crazy too, is like, there's so much emphasis on like marriage and proposals and weddings. And I'm like, you already got married. It's like, but that didn't count.
Genuinely, what are they doing though?
Because they got married, I guess, for like legal purposes for the green card. So they could start the process.
So they didn't have
where
the
it was
big
like,
wedding ceremony. So now they want to do
so
that.
no one knows they're married at this point.
Oh, perfect. No one knows anything, I guess.
Yeah. So everyone thinks that she's just going to get engaged like when he proposes.
He knew that he could not propose to me with everything that was going on. He needed time. By the time we were going to Colombia, I felt we were getting our lives back on track. We were obviously stacking up our money again. The hotel had a rooftop overlooking the city. We went up with a bottle of wine, just drinking and talking. I looked down and he's down on one knee and he tells me, I know this isn't your dream proposal, and I know
what's the
I've let you
dream
down a lot."
proposal?
Didn't he say that the time before? He said, I know this isn't how you foresaw this.
Literally. And before they do this, she was like, but I told him, like, I'm not going to say yes. I'm like, well, you're already married, so it doesn't really matter if you say yes. But that she's not going to say yes until they've, like, talked to, like, basically, like, smooth things over with Crypto and his wife. So she then arranges for them to have a meeting where they talk to Crypto and his wife, and, like, he apologizes, I guess. They come up with a payment plan, and, like, then they're fine. Then they continue going on these trips. But now that they've gotten that out of the way, everything's all good. They've cleaned everything up, and now she's ready to marry the love of her life again.
You know how some people get the ick very easily? She's like the complete opposite of that.
Literally, it's like
there's
what
so
most
many
people
things that
get
could have given her the
I'm like,
ick.
oh, wait, what do you mean? And the fact that she's then having to clean up his messes and then thinks that
Yuck.
it's like everything's good.
But I will make it up to you, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be the man you deserve. I'm hysterically crying and so happy, and it really did feel like the happiest moment of my life, and the yes was so easy. There was not a doubt in my mind. It kind of felt like it did whenever
we
got
already married.
There was no hesitation, but deeper this time because I know his flaws and struggles, and I know he's not this, perfect individual, which nobody's perfect. We're just imperfect people that come together and try to have a
Most of us
relationship. So
don't
after we
borrow
come back and enjoy being
$200,000
engaged, sharing it with our family and friends, because at this point we can actually tell our friends and family, like, we're spending forever together. So we are happy to take it all in. Easter comes around and gets a message from his mom. I need you to call me right now. Well, my dad's back in the hospital because he fell, broke his hip, and he went to go get a hip replacement surgery. After the surgery, he was recovering fine, and out of nowhere his heart stopped and they had to resuscitate him. He's fine now, but his mom wanted us to know. He's
the cat with 20 million lives. Dad just keeps on kicking.
Unfortunately, he does pass away eventually.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
like actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so mean. Okay. Why didn't you tell me that before I said that
But
joke?
the son doesn't apparently care.
Panama for my 30th birthday with my sister friends. We're on our way to Panama. My phone's on
Another
airplane
trip.
mode. We land and I have all these calls from his sister and his sister's boyfriend. We get off the plane and we just kind of step aside. He calls her and he's like, okay. And he's talking in Danish. I don't understand what's going on. He gets off the phone. I was like, what happened? He was like, oh, his heart stopped and they weren't able to resuscitate him. I was like, what, your dad died? He did not show any emotion. I was like, are you okay? I remember holding his hand. I was like, what can we do? Like, what can I do for you? He's like, honestly, let's just go through customs and let's get to the hotel and we'll figure it out there. He's like, it's your 30th birthday. I just talked to my mom. She does not want us to leave. The funeral's not gonna be for a week. So we're gonna enjoy our time here and then go back home. And like, this is so weird. He paid for everything for that trip to Panama, flight, hotel, and all meals for everyone, including me.
If you knew that, like, first of all, he still owes you money. Like, he paid back some of it, but he still owes you a shit ton. The fact that everywhere they go, it's like, oh, well, and then he paid for dinners for all of me and my friends. And it's like,
yeah,
why would you be
still
letting that
deficit.
happen? Like, what are you talking about?
We go back to Dallas for one day, then we head to Denmark. We go to the funeral, and I remember sitting in the front row holding my ex's hands, and I look up at him and I see like he's like starting to cry. Like, that's the first time I've seen him cry. I'm back home in Dallas for maybe like a couple days, and I get an email from immigration saying the petition was approved. I was relieved for a few reasons. We get to start building life here together in Dallas, but also if there was any skeletons from his past, I feel like it would not have been approved. So I almost felt like relief whenever I saw that. After a couple of weeks, he comes back to Dallas with his mom for the first time in the United States. And I remember just being so excited, and I wanted her to have the best time because, you know, she's just lost her husband of 50 years.
Picked up some flowers.
I inserted this. So this is kind of giving the performative, like, all of this stuff has happened. Like, she's found out he's lied about a bunch of stuff. Also, she still is under the impression that they're royal. Like, I guess the PI didn't uncover that they're not. Yeah, but I don't think they told the PI, like, that he said he was royal. So why would they specify that he wasn't? She, at this point, still thinks he's royal. Oh, and apparently that his parents don't speak English. And, like, that was why she couldn't visit earlier, is because, like, he didn't want there to be the language barrier and all this stuff. This is her posting on her, like, social media after they've hard launched that she's going to pick up him and his mom at the airport. And just, like, pay attention to the vibe. And this kind of gives, like, the same energy as their entire relationship, where she's like, look how perfect we are.
My son, time to head to the airport. My favorite part.
The mom, like, comes up and says hello. She speaks English.
Is that him?
Yeah.
And we just spent the week exploring Dallas, and then we had gone to Key West for about 5 days. A lot of that trip.
Oh, just went to Key West.
Yeah, that's kind of far from Dallas.
Like,
if you do the
literally, it's
math.
like every single time they don't go on like one trip. It's like one trip, and then we flew here, and then we went here, and then we both
I
went
will
home.
say this
and
is
then
more
we came back.
traveling than I've been doing lately, and I left 3 times in October. Like, this is crazy.
I counted. There's, over the course of this entire story, separately, there's 24 different trips that she and him both
Over
take.
the course of how long?
Less than 2 years, I think.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But just together, that they went on, I think it was 11 trips.
Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah. I paid for the flights, and he paid for a bunch of stuff while we got there, but she paid for most of the hotels. We all paid for a little bit. I know y'all haven't forgotten this man still owes me money. And so I remember we were in Key West, and I said, hey, are you gonna start sending me some funds in the living room? And he says he wants to go on the balcony and get fresh air. I'm trying to look over his shoulder at his phone. He doesn't know I'm looking. I see a gambling website. He tells me I'm only on this website because that's where I can watch sports for free. I want to see your bank statements right now. He pulls them up and has his statements, which I don't know if you guys remember, the first time I sent him money, I downloaded an app called Revolut, kind of like Venmo. He uses that for a lot of things in the States because you basically get the local currency rate. He showed me like the statements directly from his phone for Revolut, and then he showed me his Danish bank account transactions. I went through everything with a fine-tooth comb over the course of months and did not see anything alarming. I saw this gambling website on his phone, but I checked his bank accounts, I didn't see anything. So I let it go, but I was clear, I better not see this on your phone ever again. He has things to pay for, like he said he was helping his mom out with something, and then he said that he had another insurance payment, and there was a few things that he said he had, and then finally, I'm done with the bullshit. You need to start transferring me money. He tells me he has a transfer limit, his Revolut, which is how he can send money. He's hit his monthly transfer limit. I don't know what the fuck that means, but he said he hit it.
It means that he has to send money to other
frustrated,
people.
but he basically says he can't send any more money until August. During that time, his best friend came to visit. We get a notification that his work visa has been approved. I'm excited because this means that he can get a social, he can get a bank account. So we go to Chase, he opens up a bank account, and he says, I'm just gonna make a transfer from my Danish bank directly to my Chase bank, and then I'll start sending you money via Zelle. And I'm like, perfect, that works. He had this limit on Revolut. I couldn't remember the details, but it didn't make sense. Every time I pressured him to make more sense, kind of sneakily snuck out of the house. So I didn't want him to hear the garage. Went to Chase, typed in the PIN code, and it was accepted. And I clicked the lovely button that said check balance. And what was in his account? 34 cents. Because I, took a picture of his bank balance. I'm like, this is the balance in your bank account. He just looks at me at a loss for words. And for a narcissist, that's the most beautiful thing in the world when they have literally nothing
Why
to say.
is she still smiling?
Maybe she just has one of those,
I don't know, but that part was a little weird for me because she was just like, and I'm not trying to like nitpick and just like find, like, obviously he is in the wrong here. I'm not saying that he's not.
100%.
I think it's just that she's the one telling the story, so that's what we're reacting to. It felt like she was like, I got him because the narcissist hates to be called it. But it's like, why are you feeling like you won?
Right.
Like,
No,
it seems like you
100%.
lost, actually.
The business account doesn't exist. I don't understand why you would relapse when this money's coming. He goes, Dave, you just don't understand gambling. Sometimes it happens and there's no rhyme or reason. I said, okay, I just need to confirm with you again. Is this business account exist? He said, 100% it exists. And I'm sorry. I promise you, this feels different. Just being able to come forward to you, be honest. I feel like
This was the first time she like went and she was like, you're gambling again. And he was like, I am. And she was like, oh my God, I was so happy he didn't lie to me. Suddenly it was like, well, he was being honest. So like, I was so proud of him for being honest. It's like, but he just, what?
I mean, again,
get
loving
it,
an
but
addict
also
is
it's
hard.
Like, shit. Like, oh my God. Well, how many times is he going to have to do it before you put a stop to it? Like,
Yeah. I guess I feel bad because it's like, again, it is just like an addiction, just like anything else. And it's like people will fuck up their entire families to feed their addictions. So like, I can see where she's coming from, but still in retrospect, it's like, yeah.
it just feels mostly like she finds any goodness in the relationship as a way to then just totally like everything's fine, like because he loves me. And it's like,
right.
Ooh, that's not gonna last forever though.
fast forward to July, I ended up having a bachelorette party. So I'm on this bachelorette trip in the Bahamas, and the second day I'm there, I know that's the date of the hearing with the Danish IRS about the business account. This business account was supposed to be what was going to go towards crypto and paying for the wedding. I wake up that morning, he actually has good news. The business account doesn't have 200,000, it has 300,000.
Oh
He
my
hadn't been
God.
able to log into it for 18 months, and so he was very surprised that the account actually had more money than he thought. So I was over the moon excited. I told him, thank you for making smart choices and helping us build this foundation to start our lives together in Dallas. He told me he was on the phone with the bank for 45 minutes, ironing out the plans. They closed down the business account and they were going to just transfer him the amount of money that was owed. I don't take his word for shit at this point. So I asked him, I'm like, can you send me a screenshot of the phone call? I want to see the phone record. And so he sends me a screenshot and it shows that he was on the phone for 45 minutes. I typed the number in the screenshot that he sent me and I put it into ChatGPT and it said it was linked to his bank in Denmark. So I was like, okay, this is real. After the Bahamas, my
But you
ex
don't know
sends
what they
a
said.
text.
That's true. You don't know what they said. And it's also not that hard to fake that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'll be able to send you the money by the end of this month. Can you please send me your banking information? Now at the end of July, I asked him, hey, has the money hit? Has the money hit? Still hadn't hit. So what he said was, what I'll do is I'll send your parents the money on August 1st after I get paid for my job. Regardless, that money's gonna hit.
At what point did he, I think we might have skipped over that. When did he owe her parents money?
I think it was during the wedding planning or something. It was like deposits for things and
Okay.
they ended up paying and he was, yeah. So he's basically borrowed money from them as well at this point.
Wonderful.
Beginning of August comes around and he tells me, hey, I just sent the money to your mom. Showed me the screenshot. It said the payment was scheduled for August 9th. August 9th comes around and I asked her, have you received it? She said, no. A couple days go by and I'm like, have you received it? Yeah. She said, I still have not received it. Now it's like August 12th and I'm on FaceTime with my mom just chit-chatting. That's so weird. My mom still hasn't received the transfer. And he goes, that is weird. I go, can you pull up the screenshot? He shows me that says the payment is scheduled for August 14th. I'm a little confused because why is it scheduled for August 14th now? It was August 9th before and that doesn't make sense. So I asked him, I'm like, that's weird. He goes, that is weird. I don't know what's going on. And so regardless, it was like August 12th. So I was like, we'll just wait and make sure she gets it by August 14th. She hasn't received the transfer. August 15th, he tells me he doesn't know what's going on, but what he's going to do is cancel the transaction and then send the 10K to me. And then I will then send the 10K to my mom. Sunday comes around and my ex says that the 10,000 for my mom is going to hit his account on that Monday. And I said, okay, sounds good. I feel some red flags, but you know, I'm just like, let's wait till Monday and let's see how this plays out. I'm laying in bed playing with the app Revolut. I click schedule payment and I put just whatever date and I see the next page, which is the review page. And that's when I realized that what he did was he cropped out the schedule payment button. So it looked like he had sent the money, but he really did not. And he said, our screens are different because I'm using a version from Denmark and you're
I'm still dead, not the Denmark version.
Yeah, always,
He said, you
always.
don't get it. It's a Denmark thing.
Every time.
I made the transfer to the account she gave me. I would have come clean right now if I had it. At this point, I think we should call off the weddings. We are not working as a team and I don't want to keep fighting. Your mom will get her 10K as soon as I get it back. I will stay at a hotel for a few nights. This is all too much for me. At this point, I was like, let's cancel the weddings. I don't even care. I was more focused about his well-being.
You're already
and making
married.
sure he was going to be okay. He goes, don't worry. I'll go to Denmark either tonight or tomorrow. I have enough miles to book it. Then we'll figure out the business account and you'll be made whole. We can figure out the next steps. So, hey, can we talk about this? He said, what is there to talk about? I told you I'm done. I go, what does that mean? He says, I want a divorce. He proceeds to tell me, you prioritize your friends and family above me. I've never felt like this is my home. My stuff is in the guest closet. He said, you only love me when there's money in my account, which is crazy because there was tons of times where there wasn't money in his account. I love you. You're the
Always,
love of my
I
life.
think.
He goes, you were the love of my life. He's like, I'm going to fly back to Denmark, get the money from the business account, make sure you're whole. I also have received an offer to be a CEO of a company in Denmark, making a
I'm sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Got an offer to be a CEO in like one of the lowest moments of your life when you have like 34 cents in your
Of
account.
course,
Got
it's
it.
convenient. Yeah.
Now I'm just like, he's spiraling. This is the addiction. It's insane because I should have just been like, go buy it and be done with him. But I'm still fighting for the relationship because I don't think there's anything we can't navigate together. He sends me a message. He says, are you all gone? If yes, do I have enough time to pack my suitcase? And I go, we drove to the lake. And I said, I love you. We're going to figure this out. He says, I have made up my mind. I'm not changing my decision. Our individual peace has been at stake too long. We need to protect that. We fought for it, but the battle is over. Let me know when you're heading back. I packed the first suitcase. I might do the other tomorrow. So after being at the lake, I go upstairs trying to talk to him and he's not wanting to be within 5 feet of me. I'm like, tell me what's going on. We wouldn't be spiraling like this if there wasn't something going on. I'm your wife. We can get through this. And he said, no, I'm done with you. I'm going to leave tomorrow. I booked the flight and I will never see you again. And I will only talk to you when it's about getting your money. It's been an hour and he still has not backed down from this idea that he's leaving me. Out of pure desperation, desperation, I go into his work bag and I take his passport and I look at my friend Rebecca and I said, he's not leaving. I'm going to get to the bottom of what's really going on. So I send him a text. I go, take your space tonight.
She stole his passport.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a kind of casual way to say, like, she prevented him leaving the country. That is a bit bizarre.
She takes his green card as well.
Wow. Wow.
It's a literal crime. I thought it was very telling, though, that it's like, well, he's not leaving me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have left first.
I'm just getting the sense that, like, he felt like the well had run dry. And he's like,
which
okay, that's
then
pretty much
does
it.
make you question, like, was this at all genuine or was he just a scammer?
Probably
and
not.
it leans towards scammer. Just a very invested one.
He said, wrap your head around the fact that I am not your husband anymore. We are done. Today has shown me that I won't have anything to do with you other than settling my debt. After that, I can breathe again. I had a horrible night. I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I wake up. His bags are gone. And I sent him a text. I said, I have your passport. He said, what the fuck is wrong with you? I go, please come home, babe. You fight for the people you love. I love you, and we will get through this.
That's crazy. That's crazy. To say,
like, still at this point,
I have your passport. He said, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she said, please come home, baby.
Yeah,
he has
literally.
no choice. You have his passport.
Yeah. No, but also it's just like, at this point, you're still like, I love you, baby. Come home. It's like, he also has just told you like
What do
multiple
you
times,
want?
like, I never want to see you again.
Yeah, what are you fighting for at this point? Even beyond the scams.
The picture of this perfect relationship that she had portrayed, which is what the problem a lot of people have with this whole story is like, you were actively ignoring all of the red flags that you acknowledged that you saw at the time. And then you're kind of like, well, Danish Deception, he scammed me. It's like, well, yeah, but you knew it was happening, and then you're just like, how did this happen?
Yeah, she says pretty early on, I feel like even by the halfway mark of this entire story, she knew not to trust him, but then she continued to trust him, and then also allowed her family to trust him and give him money. That's insane.
Which gets even worse.
He said, this stunt cost me thousands of dollars. My decision is made. Remember who is fighting who. I said, we need to talk through this. I know you're hurt, and I'm sorry for my part in this, but you're my husband, and we will fight through this. He said, I am over it, but don't worry. All your troubles will go away. Now it'll just take a day longer and cost me more money. Ridiculous. I don't care anymore. I really don't. He said, well, okay, but I'm getting a temporary passport, so I'll be leaving, and you made sure to take my green card too, so even if I wanted to come back, that's not possible. I said, I can mail it to you. And at that point, I'm freaking out because I did take his green card. I get in the car and I said, I can bring you your passport and green card. I'll go to the airport. He goes, don't worry, I'm on the phone with the consulate. They'll figure it out. I don't need you. I said, I'm on the way with the passport. I'll be there in 20. He said, I'm not going to see you. Trust me. I said, okay, I'll turn around. But I can leave the passport at the front desk. He goes, don't worry, getting issued an emergency passport. This is the most insane situation. And guys, this is my favorite text in the entire thread. Call on your friends and family. You prioritize them. Now they can show up for you. I do not give a fuck if you tell everybody everything. So after that message, he says, there's no coming back from this. And I text him back and I said, okay, I will accept that now. My sisters are sitting down next to me and my best friend Nick is also on the couch. I tell them everything about the gambling, the lies, the money. My little sister looks at me and she says, he took $3K from me.
My little sister is my world. To know he took advantage of her was heartbreaking. In that moment, I fell out of love with him. And it was like the spell on me had been broken. He asked my little sister for money 2 times. The first was back in May for a birthday present for me, which is crazy because he did not get me a birthday present that year because I asked him not to because I wanted us to save money. He paid her back and he actually paid her back with interest, but it took him a month and a half. Then he asked her for money again in August, saying he was planning a surprise for our wedding in Nigeria, having issues with the transfer between his Danish account and his personal account. She sent him money and that amount was not paid back to her. So I sent him a text and I said, you took $3K from my little sister. I hate you. No wonder why you left. You're a coward. You're a pathetic waste of space. And he responds, you're right, but don't worry, you'll get what's yours. You can start the filing process so we can be done with this. I said, glad we're finally on the same page. He said, me too. I'll need my passport back Thursday. Can we find a way to make that work? I said, absolutely. Whenever you pay us back. I said, you're the most disgusting human I've ever met. He said, that's a mature comment, but that deal works. What's the exact amount I owe you? I said, love how you use the word mature as you flee the state, LMAO. I mean country. I mean continent. He goes, I'm going to make sure you get what's yours. That's all I've been trying to do. You can believe that if you want to or not. So the first person I call is one of my close friends, Chris, and him and his wife, Thea, they're pregnant with their first kid and they're buying their first hand. I called him and I said, did you give money to my ex? And he goes, yeah, I did. And then I just started scream crying on the phone.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it continues.
Oh my God, this is brutal.
I called my friend Rob and asked him, did you loan money to my ex? He said, yes. Again, I'm scream crying. He borrowed money from Rob 2 times. The first time he said he was buying an Aston Martin DB9 and he was trying to shuffle funds between his Danish account and his American account. It was taking a while. That amount of money was paid back and he came back and asked money from Chris and Rob and said that he was trying to surprise me with this super rare Rolex.
What kind of friends do you have? My friends simply would be like, I don't have any money. Sorry. Struggling this month. Like, I literally can't do that even if I wanted to. So,
yeah, no. Like, also, if you're buying an Aston Martin, you don't need to
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
It's a car.
Oh, Jesus.
To be able to afford an Aston Martin is not something you like need to then borrow money to get.
But he's in a pickle. His Danish account, you know, is
oh my God, of course, the transfer, it didn't work.
Yeah, of course.
He was trying to surprise me with it for the wedding, and the store just got it, and he didn't think they were going to get it again before the wedding. And then I messaged him, Chris and Rob, what the fuck? He said, you don't have to remind me. I am aware. I need to go fix it. And then I texted him in all caps, who else? And then he doesn't respond. Then I called one of my friends that I've known since high school, asked him, did you give my ex money? He said yes. He had loaned him money as well. And then I made a call to my cousin, and I asked him, I said, did you loan my ex money? He said yes. And we are the godparents to his son, and he's like a second brother to me. It broke me completely to know he could hurt people I love like this. I was in shock at this point. I was so hurt. I was so angry, and I did not know what to do. At that point, I'm like, I need to contact his family right now. So I called his little sister. She's just in shock. Her fiance goes to his mom's house, picks his mom up. They were like, we knew he had a problem 10 years ago. He went into treatment. He got better. We never knew he was still doing it. I was so angry because they should have told me right away. I started feeling a lot of resentment. I know it's not fair to blame them because I know they're not responsible for his actions, but
they should have told you. Maybe you should have told all of your family and friends so they wouldn't lend him money when you knew he had a gambling addiction, had already borrowed thousands and thousands of dollars from you. I know she says like, I can't blame them, but it's like, the fact she even says that at all, I'm like, well, you didn't tell anyone though. So like, why would they?
Damn, no, that's pretty brutal. Yeah. It sucks because it's also like she was swindled, but at the same time, she knew that she couldn't
swindled.
tell them because they would be like, hey, that's fucked up. Why are you giving him all this money? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. So all these people did think that they were giving money in like an isolated incident, like he really needed money.
And also they believed that he was who she had presented him as, which is this wealthy, really hot, perfect husband that does no wrong. Questionable.
Allegedly, in her description.
In her opinion. But yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous because it's like, yeah, he did scam you. Obviously, I don't think you deserve that, but you allowed him to seep into your life and like get money from all these people because had they known you had lent him money that he has not paid back in years at this point, they wouldn't have been so quick to give him money.
Yeah.
So then I tell them he's lied about so much stuff. He lied about going to the Olympics. He lied about the home he lived in. Then I thought to myself, the royal title. So I asked them, do you guys have a royal title? The look on their face, horrified. The lie I told my cousin was that he was buying a Ferrari. And I texted him, you took money from my cousin too. I'm so sick to my stomach. I wish I never met you. He goes, I understand. I don't need these reminders. Then I said, tell me who else. Be honest for once so I can finish making these calls and I heal. He said, no one is asking you to do that. That's a choice you made. And the next morning I decided I'm going to go on my Instagram and I'm going to unblock.
When they had she had hard launched him, then she started noticing that there was a bunch of Danish accounts that were viewing her stories. And she was like, that's weird. Who are all of these people? And he was like, oh, it's toxic people from home. You should block all of them. And one of them included his ex-girlfriend, who she only realized was the ex-girlfriend because on her profile, there was a picture of their dog together. Allegedly, I guess it ends up being, it was just her dog. He claims that she kept the dog. So that was like a whole thing. She blocked that girl. She's now unblocked her and reached out.
His ex-girlfriend sent a message. Hi, I've finally seen his true colors. I don't know how to understand the depth of what I'm going through. And she responded almost instantaneously and was like, Anyeka, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry. There were times I wanted to reach out to you, but I felt like he was filling your mind with lies and you weren't going to believe anything that I said. So I told her, don't blame yourself, but I'm having a hard time understanding the depth of what I'm going through. Are you available to have a quick conversation? And she said, absolutely. So I find another friend that he owed $10,000 to. One of my coworkers that I used to work with, she told me that her husband gave him $10,000 too. The lies were a variety of different lies. One said he was investing in land. Another said that he was buying a car. The same lie about his Danish account, that he's having issues transferring money. Every person he took money from, he told them not to tell me. It's in text and in receipts. He said, do not tell her. It's a surprise. I'm getting this car as a surprise. I'm getting this washer as a surprise. I'm buying this land. It was a surprise to me, which makes me sick. So I'm on my phone. I have a text from his older sister and she said, Anyeka, can you please call me? I want to talk to you. It's on FaceTime. I'm bawling my eyes out and she's just apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. I wanted to have a conversation with you, but I didn't know if you were going to believe me. His addiction got really bad about 10 years ago. He owed money to dangerous people. They threw a brick through his parents' window and chased his friend with a knife. She's a police officer, so she wanted to protect him. She met with dangerous loan sharks and figured out a payment plan. My ex got a job in China and moved to Shanghai and didn't pay anyone back. He owed money to tons of people. I did not know any of this. I just knew he owed money to his best friend at the time and obviously crypto. So I thought these were like small, not obviously not small, it's a large amount of money, but I thought these were isolated incidents. I didn't know that this was
how many isolated incidents before it's a red flag though?
For 6 months and then I started receiving messages from people in China. So he was conning people in China as well. We have North America, Europe, and Asia. I'm mind blown. How did it get this bad? She said he got treatment about 10 years ago. They told the family that he had the worst gambling addiction that they had seen in their career. Then she proceeds to tell me this is why I don't have a relationship with him because I have kids now and he has no desire to change, literally none. I told her, he said her family had all this money. She said that's not true. We're very average, middle class. She said he has never owned a single piece of property in Denmark in his life. I get off the phone with his sister and then his ex is now available and she started it off saying, okay, well, we were together for 7 years. I was like, 7 years? He told me told me 4. She said he stole money from me, he stole money from my parents, friends, and a colleague of my dad's. After meeting him once, he never invested in that plumbing business. That was all stupid, all lies. And I asked her, 7 years is a long time. What pushed you to finally leave? She's like, I realized he wasn't going to change. For a while, I knew I should have left him, but I felt in deep. I asked her, when did you guys break up? They broke up on December 23rd of 2022. So do y'all remember that story about his dad being sick in the hospital and him getting in a fight with his sister, back surgery and all the bullshit? It was all a lie. He was living with her. She left him 4 months after we started dating. At this point, I was numb.
4 months
He cheated on
overlap.
her. I was the other woman. It was just like, okay, let's add something else to the list.
Yeah, I mean, I will say not the most concerning thing cheating is horrible and whatever, but I'm not surprised at all.
I'd still be a little concerned at the $200,000 that he bought.
Yeah, no, this is crazy.
I started looking up divorce attorneys on day 1, and I had 2 meetings with divorce attorneys. I'm on the phone with my mom talking about everything. This man and his wife from Denmark found my ex on LinkedIn and was like, it's so rare that I meet other dates in Dallas. Would love to have you and your wife over for dinner. This man is extremely successful. They were living in a very nice home. He just felt like he wanted to take my ex under his wing. He just wanted to be a mentor for him. So I call him and I go, did my ex take money from you? And he says, that motherfucker took $30,000 from me. And I asked him, how did he get all this money from you? And he said he was investing in this land building quadruplex, had to rerun the water lines, and he was looking for investors. He said they had 10 to 15 business meetings before this man gave my ex a dime. And he said, I'm a man that's found a lot of success in my life. I have $1.5 million worth of cars, $500,000 worth of watches. This man had to work hard to pull one over on me. He said, I have loaded guns in every single room in my house. I didn't know if this man was a part of a group. And I asked him, why didn't you bring this up to me? He goes, Anyeka, you're Nigerian. Like, that's a scamming capital of the world. I didn't know if you were in on it.
Get ready for her reaction to this.
That's when the irony hit me. I'm Nigerian and I'm a proud Nigerian. I tell people it's my biggest flex, but the country's not perfect. We have our weaknesses. One is that there's a ton of scammers versus Denmark, who's considered to be this prestigious, wealthy, happy country. So the fact that a Danish man pulled this over on a Nigerian or Nigerians collectively, it just blew my mind.
She didn't interpret it as like an insult. That was like a stereotype about her people. She was like, you're right.
Yeah, that is.
It's wild that like your reaction wouldn't be like, what? Fuck you for thinking I was a scammer because I'm Nigerian. Like, no, that wasn't it. She was like, oh my God, that is crazy.
And he tells me, well, you wanna know what else is gonna blow your mind? He said, I filed a lawsuit against him and I served him via courier. On top of that, before the mentor friend would give him any money, he wanted to get some collateral. So my ex, he gives him the Rolex watches as collateral, which turn out to be fake. So him taking that $50,000 watch to the village, he quite literally did not have anything to lose. And the absolute worst part was that this man had just lost his job 4 days prior and his wife is sick. Let that sink in. That conversation with the mentor shaped my mindset and I realized I need to fight back.
Just now, that changed your mindset. You've literally found out that he's scammed every single person in your life. And just that person who you barely even know, that was the one that changed it.
I do feel bad. I feel like some people have such low self-worth and they believe that they're supposed to like get married and do the whole thing and whatever. Like, I feel like it really does cause people to live quite miserable lives, like genuinely.
Well, and that's what's crazy though, is that she hadn't had a relationship because she claimed that she was like holding out and had high standards and like was waiting for the one, and then this happened. And I think that probably is why she felt kind of like, everyone thinks this is my perfect marriage, it has to be. So she was just like doing whatever she could to try and like patch it up when she could, but like, ugh.
He then proceeds to start sending me messages, begging for me back, telling me how much he loves me, telling me how we can work on our relationship and get back to what we were. And let me tell you, I have never had my phone blown up to this extent. Nothing makes sense without you. We had so many plans ahead of some of which we can still get to do. Others we will miss. That's okay. We have an entire life together right in front of us.
She says that these are
you
like
perfect and
ChatGPT
required not to
messages.
change a single thing. I have many battles to fight and overcome. I will rise stronger than ever if you choose to stand by my side for you, for us. I'm aware a lot of people hate me for what I've put you through, them through, family members and friends. But I also know that a lot of them are good people whom over time will forgive me if I make the right amends. Many have witnessed my love, loyalty, and generosity, even when I had little to give. I am devoted to change for you, everyone around you. I will put my pride aside and show you we can come back from this if you'll let me. You might think I sound crazy, delusional to think I stand a chance. I am crazy, crazy in love with you. I'll go through extreme lengths to show you. He ended every message with, I love you. I will always love you with all of my heart. I'll go to the end of the world for you. Actual psychopath. It's funny because I actually put that message in ChatGPT and ChatGPT was like, this is emotionally manipulative. He's minimizing the emotional and financial damage he's caused by saying that everyone's going to make amends with him. He puts you on a pedestal telling you you're perfect so that you'll feel like you need to fix him. He's saying that he's almost like a hero because he's going to go to war for you. And no, I didn't talk to my people, but I should have been talking to ChatGPT.
You needed ChatGPT to tell you? Because I think you knew. You just didn't.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I hired a lawyer less than a week after everything went down. We were able to file the petition, file for divorce, and he said it worked out well because I live in Texas, a separate property state. My house, purchased before I met him, was my home for the taking.
Thank
and
God.
I had not put his name on the deed. I was about to, but I didn't. Thank you, God. My car was mine, so he couldn't take anything from me, which made me very happy after not hearing from him for about a week. And he's basically saying that, he still loves me and he really wants me back, but he needs his passport and his green card back. And he said, just so you know, it's illegal to hold on to someone's passport and green card. And I was like, you want to talk to me about legality? And then he said, talk to me, text me back. And so I reached out out to my lawyer. I'm like, hey, what's going on with the docs? Like, you think soon? And he was working so fast. And actually, I think I'm gonna have him done this week. It'd be quicker if we just get him to sign. I was like, honestly, I'm down. I will meet with him one time to get it signed. I was talking to my friend Chris, and he said, Anika, I will go meet him for you. I was like, are you sure? He said yes. My ex starts blowing me up. I text my friend. I go, please send him a message just to say the divorce documents will be ready for you to sign this week, and then I will be able to provide you with my passport. It wasn't a sign these in order to get your passport. There was no duress. Gotta say that for legal reasons. There was no duress. And then he proceeds to start blowing me up. He's telling me he loves me, doesn't think we should give up on our rare love, and that he got a new job in Dallas and he's gonna provide for me, and yada yada yada. And I'm still not responding. And he starts sending me voice memos saying, I'm going crazy, I'm going out of my mind, I think I'm gonna show up. I feel safe, I'm not scared of him. He sends a voice memo saying, good morning, I love you, and I'll see you very soon. I said, what do you mean very soon? I sent a message to my neighbor. I go, hey, if my ex shows up, I'm gonna need you to tell him to leave. She said, I got you, I'm ready. I'm like, sounds good. Saturday comes middle of September, and I'm walking my dog. I had just walked out of the house, and I look up, and there's my ex. He says, hey babe, can we talk? I scream bloody murder. He speeds off and drives away. He texted me, okay, I get it. I love you. That's all. I won't do that again. My heart is bleeding. If that's your decision, so be it. Goodbye, babe. It was always just love. I sent him a text because I've been ignoring him for weeks. I need to just send him a message so he knows how I really feel. Do not ever show up to my home again. I do not want to see you. I do not want to be with you. I do not love you anymore. Nothing you can say or do will ever change that. You make me sick. Someone capable of the evil you've committed is not capable of redemption. This divorce is happening whether you want it to or not. Leave me the fuck alone. He responded, I understand now. The following week, my friend Chris met with him and he signed the divorce papers and had no problem with anything that I put in there.
End scene.
Shit. I mean, it's very difficult. I think that people do a lot of things, again, like I said, out of desperation, out of wanting to fit into this mold that they pictured for themselves and their lives. And I do sympathize with that and like how society pushes that on us.
And that's a lot of the people that have given commentary on this afterwards, again, are Black women. She also spoke out against them. She was like, it disappoints me that it's Black women talking about this because we're supposed to lift each other up and support each other. And they point out that she did most of this probably to have the white man that she could then show off to her friends that they would be jealous of, that she could present this life to be like, look at, I finally made it. Look at my perfect white husband.
Like it was something that society pushed on her, but in a different way. Like even adding race onto it. Yeah.
Accepted that challenge and was like, okay, well, perfect. Then they also point out that she follows Trump, Vance, and specifically the one that got me is Candace Owens.
Maybe she wants to see the latest Charlie Kirk conspiracies. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Perhaps.
Candace Owens has been, off.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Right twice a day. That's what they say.
So basically they point out that she doesn't seem to have any Black friends. She has very much
interesting
found a white
So she was trying to make this image of her life
correct.
Makes sense, even to the detriment of herself, her family, her friends, everybody that
because
she knows
she was
and loves.
so set on being like, I'm going to portray this life that would finally have me accepted, which I think is sad because it's like the fact that you would get to the point that you even think that that is something you have to do. But
he is still the villain in terms of he's the one that caused harm. She did not intentionally scam anybody. So I cannot, in my personal opinion, like I can't direct anger towards her. I pretty much only have it towards him because he's the one that, whatever. But
I think people point out that it's more like a lack of, like she was enabling it because of her own like hope of
she like facilitated the relationship that allowed it to get as far as it did.
Then the fact that she didn't leave until like he tried to leave her.
Yeah, no.
Like that was what kind of sent her over the edge, it feels like, not any of the actual red flags that she very much knew were happening.
Well, what kind of got me, and she's like, my little sister was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I know everybody has a breaking point, but I'm also like, damn, he's scammed like a billion people before that. So like everybody, your mom's looking at that like, what the fuck?
Exactly. And also, interesting segue, because this is a video of someone that posted that says it was a former friend that reached out to her, that reached out to this person. I don't know why they reached out to this person. I'm not sure the context there. The friend wants to stay anonymous. I'm pretty sure it's real. I don't really have anything to back that up. Everyone is accepting it as truth. And she reads the message from the friend, and it's interesting.
After getting off my live last night, I received a DM. If we remember in part 1, she had mentioned how she was traveling and she was meeting up with a friend, I believe in Barcelona. That friend is the one that DM'd me, or should I say ex-friend. She DM'd me with some information. She would like to be anonymous, so I'm going to respect her wishes, but I have the DM on my laptop and I'm reading it, okay? If it sounds choppy, it's because of identifying information. So the DM reads, I used to be close friends with Onyeka and even went on a double date with her and her ex-husband. When we were friends, I told her to be careful of that man and it seemed too good to be true. And he was suspicious and she wanted to hear nothing of it. Shocker. Her best friend, Natalie, that's the girl who made the video yesterday, that she mentioned in her story, was there when we were all out to dinner 4 months after she met her ex and was gassing her up and feeding into her delusions, telling her he is her Prince Charming and who she asked God for. So now we know why, Natalie's considered the best friend. Okay? So yeah, she had people in her life, including her brother-in-law, married to her sister, question her ex's Olympian status, and instead she just cut some of us off who questioned the legitimacy of their relationship. So there were people in her circle that were questioning the legitimacy.
Well, I don't find that bizarre. That's probably why she didn't tell them anything.
Well, yeah, but she's basically saying, and she cut them off. So she was like so much in denial / so much just like obsessed with this is with my perfect
idea
life.
Of all of this.
Yeah. That she was willing to cut off her own family members to try and make it okay, even though it was like clear that the relationship was hemorrhaging.
I mean, listen, I've been taken advantage of like slightly financially by men in the past, but it's never gotten to any, honestly, even significant point. Like I bought that fucking loser that I wrote Bitch Please about, God bless. Hope he's doing well. Michael Kors watch, but that's like $300. And yeah, I let him stay in my house and I did this and that. But already, even with that, I was like, okay, time's up. Enough. This is ridiculous.
Crazy to look back and be like, you found out the 200,000 thing like halfway through this story.
Yeah. Even before halfway
and
almost.
You were like,
and she just kept going.
He has an addiction. And then you just were like, fine. And then you went on trips. You were still paying for stuff. He borrowed more.
And I mean, if he has an addiction, I can sympathize with that. But I also personally, as somebody who I consider myself to be giving, I give to everyone around me as much as I can. But like, if I found something like that out about my friends or my husband or anything,
you put up a wall. I would tell my family. Like at least that. And also you would just be so like diligent about making sure anything moving forward was not
kosher.
Yeah, it was not sketchy and he wasn't lying to you.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, he showed me that Danish agreement and it seemed legit.
Yeah. I hate it when we have to like teeter the line of victim blaming because it does like suck. I want to just be like the scammer is the only bad one, like I said. But at the same time, I do see logically how her complacency and like not even complacency, like flat out like omitting information that was important to her family and friends, how that facilitated the space where he took advantage of and then
all
scammed.
Of the while she again was posting on their now couples Instagram, I guess, where it was like very much couple content for everything.
Yeah.
And then she's now since deleted all of it and rebranded, so it's now a solo account again. But like she was posting, trying to keep up this image of like, they're going on trips. Look how fabulous their life is. And it was like, he owes you how much? He owes your friend 200,000. It was just like, you're essentially lying to everyone in your life to help him. It was enabling him to be able to borrow money from more people. And whether or not like she thought that was happening, it's like, well, couldn't you kind of assume that was probably happening though if you'd already done it?
I mean, hindsight is 2020. I could see how like now she sees it and maybe at the time she was like so, I don't know, infatuated or whatever. But at the same time, huge fuck up.
Yeah.
He walked away with so much fucking money. It's insane.
I don't even know what the full actually, I do. Someone did a little compilation.
Keep in mind, he still owes me $6,000 at this point. He said, can you send me $5,000? After some time, he talks me into loaning him the $15,000. I end up loaning him an additional $3K, not even a week after I had already given him $15K. I remember I gave him like a small amount, maybe like $3,000. We ended up going to Portugal for a week. We used my credit cards the majority of this trip. Your ex owes my husband $200,000. And I saw that there was a cash advance for $7,000. My little sister looks at me and she says, he took $3K from me. I find another friend that he owed $10,000 to. My coworkers that I used to work with, husband gave him $10,000 to. And what was in his account? 34 cents.
Oh, she doesn't tally it up? Damn.
39,000 plus all of the trips and everything she paid for. Just is
so around 300,000, right?
And then for the friends, it's 233, 243, 250, over 250,000 of friends. And I think there's even more than that, honestly, because she didn't give
so he
amounts.
Definitely walked away with around $300,000 that he likely used to scam other people.
I was just going to say, and like you said earlier, like it's a Ponzi scheme. So he probably he didn't have all of this money. It was that he was paying back old debts that he had borrowed from other people. Probably the last girlfriend's
Jesus
friends.
Christ. What a fucking disaster. I mean, I literally came up on YouTube almost from dating horror stories. This would have done numbers back in the day. I will just say, this is insane and some of the most batshit crazy things I've ever heard in my life.
I think that's pretty much it. Let's watch like one of the commentary videos. We could watch a million, but of one of the Black creators that talks about their interpretation of all this.
On the topic of race, I'm not gonna lie, guys, the most hateful messages I've been seeing are coming from Black women, and that's actually really surprising to me because I thought we were here to protect each other and lift each other's voices. So what's going on? I'm not gonna fight hate with hate, so I'm just gonna end this video saying let's all do better, let's practice empathy, let's practice love, and if you're a victim.
And that's all I needed to know. The first red flag was you pronouncing your name the way you did. The second red flag was the fact that you said that man had blonde hair, blue eyes, and you were just so like... And then the third red flag was you running that much bread to that man and still going on trips with him while you were, you know, owing money. Like, and there's a shit ton of red flags. But here's my thing. Instead of her actually taking accountability, you know, like what Risa Tisa did, this is why Risa Tisa's, like, series popped off. Because Risa Tisa was done with the man. Risa Tisa was over it. Risa Tisa was ready to tell her story because she had, like, you know, dealt with everything, coped with everything. She's not over that man. But anyways, as I was saying, instead of her actually taking accountability, she's going to blame it on the Black women. That's all I needed to know. And then I find out that she follows JD Vance, Trump, and Candace Owens. And that's another all I needed to know. And then somebody pulled up her social media and she's like the only Black girl in her friend group. So that's all I really needed to know. You want allyship when you're not an ally. You want us to sit here and protect you when you wouldn't do the same. What are you talking about? You're part of the 8%. You were never part of the 92%. Mind you, I've seen criticism from all races, all different women on this girl and this whole Danish Deception. But of course, she's going to pick specifically Black women.
That is true. There's probably a ton of people of all sorts of different backgrounds and races in the comments being like, what the fuck, bitch? What are you doing?
That goes to show her character. Ma'am, stop lying to yourself. The only reason why that man was able to scam that much bread out of you and your family and friends is because he was white. He was white, blonde hair, with blue eyes. It's called white proximity. Please, stop playing with us. Like, really stop gaslighting us.
Because she also, in that video that this girl's responding to, says that she, like, is hearing all the race comments, but she, like, misinterprets what they're saying. And she goes, I was just watching a Netflix documentary, and it was a Black guy that scammed, because they're basically saying he only got away with it because he was white. And it's like,
oh, but that's not what they mean.
That's not what, they mean that is why he got away with it. Not that he couldn't have done it if he was Black.
Your series isn't doing what you thought it was going to do. She's not ready to come to terms or, like, actually look introspectively on why this happened to her and why she trusted that man so much and why a lot of us are sitting here like just kind of flabbergasted and like, girl.
I mean, I honestly do think that's a fair point, especially I think her still now smiling and being like, he looked like a Calvin Klein model.
Exactly.
Like, Mama, he did. He didn't, though.
I guess she's probably trying to do that so it doesn't seem as crazy that she believed him. So she's like trying to paint him in a good light.
Or maybe she was trying to convey like the love she felt in that moment. But like it was all a very interesting vibe. Like the whole storytelling, all of it, I was just there like, okay. Like it is weird. Well, what a journey. If you've been hearing about the Danish Deception, I don't know if this clears anything up for you, but we went on the journey, okay?
I'll insert, we don't have time because we've been filming for over 2 hours already, but I'll insert 1 or 2 more videos from other people giving their commentary on the situation, which could have tainted my perception of everything too, because I'm like, oh, they have a good point. But even while I was originally watching it, in the least victim blaming way possible, I was like, oh my God, really? Oh, still?
Yeah.
It's not like she has more fault than he does. Absolutely not. It was just like,
no, but
we maybe should.
It's a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we love the internet to end this disaster.
Yes.
I have an animal one.
Oh, I saw someone refer to it the other day in the comments as, do we love the internet? I was like, oh, maybe we should have called it that.
That's funny. I like that. It is an animal one, like I said. Not the one you would prefer, I don't think. Caption says, Kitty dropped a bath bomb.
Oh my God, that seems it's so dangerous. There's candles and
I have
also, did he just like shoot poop out of his butt?
No, I don't even think it was shit. I think that was a fart. But it's got so much wind.
Yeah.
Someone said, you're not getting out fast enough for me. And I do have to agree.
Well, and I'm just like, this is so dangerous. The cat's running and there's candles going. And
there's a lot happening. I was more concerned or just confused. I didn't know cats audibly fart. I didn't know that. So
I haven't had a cat in a long time. So
we got to do the slow-mo.
Yeah. Okay. I have a few options. Do we want traveling cats?
I don't know what that means.
Use your imagination. A really happy golden retriever or a monkey?
Monkey.
So this is a wild monkey that has approached this woman and decided that it loves her. She has pink hair.
Oh, no, I definitely have not seen this.
He loves me.
He does love you. He does love you. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy.
I'm gonna cry. Like,
He just came right up to you.
This is like the cutest thing ever.
That is so funny.
I want to hold him so bad.
I know. Don't though.
I know, honey.
Don't.
Like, this is the best thing ever.
Don't though.
You just have to be very patient with him still.
Oh my gosh. Like, why am I getting emotional right now? That's a scratch.
So you know when monkeys, they're like, that's like an affectionate thing that they like clean off each other.
Monkey when I was little. I was all over the trees. Yeah, look, still scratch. I'm going to scratch. Look at him. This is his way of showing his love for me.
And he's being very gentle.
He is so gentle. What is it? Can I see?
Oh my gosh, his little hands.
I don't know how I would even be handling this at all.
Un poco chateado.
He's lucky you. Very protective. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about
him,
to say.
I love your hair. Thank you.
Gotta be careful.
Me too. Thank you. He does too. This is the best. I'm gonna stay here forever.
Me.
It's so cute. I just get scared because I know monkeys can maul people's faces off because they get so protective.
For sure. No, it's super like, oh my God, how is this happening?
She's been good, like being so reserved for sure.
Well, and then
like,
it just continues though that he just like keeps getting like more and more obsessed with her and he's just like hugging her and it's just like
her spirit. He just liked it. Or maybe she like smells like something he likes or something, you know?
I don't know. But he continues to just like sit on her lap and give her hugs and she named him Alfred.
I love that. Maybe he did like her hair. She does have pretty bright hair. Anyway, well guys, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you. I know this was a long one, but hopefully a good one. But anyway, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you very much. And as always, we hope you have a wonderful weekend and we will see you on Monday.
Finish my drink. Bye. Cheers.